What's going on? Good afternoon, good morning, it could be good evening to some of you folks. Just a big hello to everybody out there. Let's see, let's get ramped up here a little bit. Oh, let me just check this out. Make sure we get everything going here. Let me put that on. All right. What's going on? Good afternoon. Oh, look at that. We have audio, imagine that. All right, I think it's about a 20-second, that's weird. It has like a 20-second delay, but it is what it is. I'm not sure why this thing is. That's a little better. All right, let's see here. Oh, there he is. All right, what's happening, everyone? I really need to clean this bench off. Looked like a bomb went off over here. It's not good. Not good at all. All right, let's put this over here. It's like that half of the bench is like, again, looks like a bomb went off. Because I was been cleaning, and it's like a lot of people do spring cleaning. I do fall cleaning. You just get clutter. You just want to get rid of it. Not a ton of crap, but I feel it's clutter. So I was like, all right, we'll go ahead and get rid of that. So everything on that side is kind of like, yeah, a little cluttered. Not too bad. So what's going on, everyone? Let me see. Anti-gravity, what's going on? Little roll call here. Elaine Millard, how are you? Said hi, Chris and everyone. Hope you are all well. Well, Renee V, what's going on, Renee V? Let's see. Eric Gower, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Third Eye opens in there. How are you? I hope you're well. Greetings, friends. Poindexter, what's happening? Klaatu, huh? What is that? The Earth stood still. Klaatu. If my memory serves. Let's see. Josh D's in there. What's going on, Josh D? Hold on. Let me make this a little bigger. I usually have this slightly larger here in this screen, so it's a little bit easier. That's better. Mike Knapp, what's going on? Good to have you in there as well. Mick, what's happening? He said, good afternoon, fine people. What's going on, Mick? Good to see you in there. Chloroform as good? Like that old joke. Here, smell this. Does it smell like chloroform? Yep. Done. All right. Pete Ferrero, what's happening? Buffalo, New York is in the hizoo. Mimi reacts. What's going on? Johnny Half says, good early afternoon from Northeast Illy. We'll call it Illy. Let's see. M9 1-7, greetings from Mutual Balin. Tongue gets tied. But yeah. Let's see. Seems like a new one here. Good to have you in there. Shady Man. Mars is artificially colored and sweetened. Well, this is sweetened, that's for sure. Totally agree. Definitely colored, right? Not good. False coloring. I guess, Mark Daniel, what's happening? He said, hi y'all from Atlanta, Georgia. Healer. Hello everyone from Miracle Beach, BC, Canada. Long Island, New York, what's happening? Good to have you in there as well. Read the bogus New York Times article about, yes, it's, your question was, anyone read the bogus New York Times articles about UAPs? The new one. We're going to get into that too. We'll talk about that. I swear, there's definitely a motive here, or at least they're trying to guide the populace, if you will. So I find it a little weird, a little funky at the same time. Toe Guy, what's happening? He said, yo. Goat Heart, what's happening? Wasn't in for a while? Yes, so it's good to have you in there. Hope you're doing well. Frank Centurion, what's happening? Very early in the morning for me. Howdy, folks. Oh, that's right, Frack, Europe, I believe, now. Where the heck are you at? I forgot where you're at. But anyway, let me see here. Nope. Let's do it that way. Oh, so yeah, it's been really busy here. And like I said in my last video, hopefully within the next month and a half, they plan on reopening another store Go figure, right? That's the other one that was on fire. Or they're going to they have an option to either open that one after it's been repaired and everything else, been cleaned out, or lease it and then open another additional store. So, and I'm usually one of the guys that goes in there and just restocks everything in the store and does it all. So, not just me alone, of course, but I'll bring like a workforce with me and we'll just go ahead and get it done. Order everything for the store, get it in, and just put it on the shelves. So that's always a lot of fun. And I miss the idea of being able to just come home. Before, folks, remember this? I used to come home 2, 3 o'clock, right? It wasn't so bad. You come home, boom, bust out videos with no problem. It doesn't mean I'm not going to still do them. Although there was a hiatus there, of course, and then I did just go on my vacation. You know, so that 1 week doesn't count, I guess, but what was it, 2, 3 weeks, I think it was. I think without a video. Was it that long? So, yeah. And you folks are like I am. You're like, man, when's he going to put out a video? I'm going, man, when can I put out a video? So, believe me, I feel you. Earlier I had this, what the heck was this? This is what my bench sounded like earlier. Between, listen to the folks, you've got, I was listening to 40-meter bands, I'm listening to ham operators talking, I'm listening to the scanner, so you got like everything from, in fact, it was 135 megahertz, which is basically it's airliners and stuff like that, jets and stuff. So, and bounced all over police and everything else. So, yeah, it's always a lot of fun. But, so I was like, how can you listen to two at the same time? But you can, believe it or not. Maybe we missed you too. Terry Kelling, what's going on? Good to have you in there, man. Good to have you in there. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I did. Ancient Astronomer, there you go. What's happening? Good to see you in there. I'll show you you guys the newest addition to the family in a little bit. Another one rescued. Let me watch what's happening. Said hi, Chris and all. Hope all is well. I'm doing well, man. It's just that probably more frustrated that I can't get on there and make more videos, but I have, and I will continue. I have 2 more I need to put out. They're not really long videos anyway, but the thing is, those are coming up as well, and we're not going to have to wait long for those. So, yeah, trying to get them done. Randall Tufts, what's going on? Lived in Punta Gorda for many years. Nice place, isn't it? Of course, if you get your butt handed to you from a hurricane, not so much. But yeah, really nice area. Maybe you said we had many chemtrails today. Why am I not surprised? Yeah, Goat, like I said, we just put out one, and I've got a moon one coming up. In fact, I want to show you a moon picture. This is kind of funky. When you see it, and you just look at the picture, you just go, I don't see anything. But you just got to look at the rocks. The rocks tell all. I mean, you're just looking at the rock going, that doesn't look normal. So you don't know if this has been manipulated and they just didn't do a good job of getting rid of the evidence anyway. But it's right there in plain sight, you know? And this was going back to who just mentioned about the UFOs and stuff, the UAPs. So now we have a team that's going to look for these UFOs and UAPs. I'm confused. Is it because they're just hoping... I think this is what I think is going on. Let me just backtrack. I think what's going on is that they're doing their best to, I don't know, feel the public out? Because think about it. It's like, well, in our eyes we could probably say that. But to the average person who's not privy to any of this, they're not looking at these Mars photos. They're not looking at the moon photos. Because when I look at them, if we've been doing this for years, I go, okay, so the only thing I can think of is they know there's UFOs, clearly. Because they know there's stuff on the moon and on Mars and many other places, right? Like we were talking about the ring makers of Saturn. What's funny about it is like you and I know that clearly there was civilization on the moon and on Mars. Okay, so to us, it seems like they're really worried that it's a threat. To the average person, they're probably saying to the average person, let's just feel them out, see how they feel about UFOs. Because we already pretty much know. So I'm not surprised whether these things are from outer space. They don't even bother me. I just go, whatever. Because like I said before, a lot of people go, yeah, I know, but what happens if they're like these demonic aliens and they're going to basically come over and take the planet over? Well, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot we could do about it, because you can bet they're a lot more powerful than we are. And if they're not, they could be just... How do we know they didn't just learn, like we're doing, different propulsion, and finally were able to get out into the universe and then travel, and finally they found another planet, and they're just kind of curious about us. But either way, I think the higher up at the Department of Defense, right, or any branch of the military, they're like, we need to know where these things come from. Now, they know that they're there, because, like I said, they're more privy to the average person about what's on the moon, Mars, and any other body in our solar system, and probably anywhere else. So they know what's going on. They just want to pinpoint it. And they're also trying to feel out how would people react if these things, made themselves present. I mean, think about it. Me, I'd go, oh, wow, that's awesome. Unless, of course, it just laid over my house and just sat there. And I'd be like, okay, that's a little freaky. And of course you'd be worried. But the thing is, it's like, I'm not surprised that they're UFOs. But they're also claiming now that some of them were just drones, blah, blah, blah. Which I already said this. Listen, and you folks know this as well. Taking a night vision, infrared, whatever. Show me an actual real photo of a UFO. I don't care if it's off the flank of a battleship. I don't care if it's over land. If the military took it, a person, or a normal person like you and I took it, whatever it may be. Show me a real photo of a UFO in the sky, crystal clear, and I'll believe it. They can't show you that. Why? So it's almost like they're trying to feel you out, or us out, to see how people would react. Would they freak out? Would they be like, oh my God, what's going on? Now, I haven't seen any polls where they're taking to see how the public would react. In other words, one of the questions would be, would you be freaked out to know that there's possible other civilizations out there? Or that we know about them, or whatever. And then see how people react. Oh, no, I wouldn't want to see that. Or whatever. I don't know. I've never seen one yet, though, right? Bush Corey, Gaz. Bush Corey. Gaz, what's happening? Good to see you there, man. Oi, hey, Chris. Mr. Great to see you, my friend. Oh, same here, man. It's, I've been wanting to get on here anyway. Of course, like I said, make the videos and so on and so forth. 786 Auto's in there. He says, hello, guys. What's going on, 786? I want to say 76 because I'm saying it so quick. Good to have you in there, man. James, 1977 Razorbacks. What's happening? He said, hey. I got to show you guys this. This is the newest edition. Come here. Come here, baby. Come on. I know you can't climb all over that. Look at this. How do you not love that? Wow. What are you doing? Isn't she adorable? So, yeah, go up on the bed. She was saved just like the other cat was, my other cat. She was in the back of this other store, and she had an upper respiratory issue, like most of them back there have. Eyes were glued shut, the whole 9 yards. And I said, if this cat does not get attention, it's going to die. Because one, there's raccoons back there, possum, all kinds of other critters back there. It can't see to defend itself, and it sure in heck can't find its way to the food. So I just sat there one day just cleaning out its eyes with Q-tips and everything else with warm water, trying to clear it up a little bit. So he said, why don't we just take it home? Like I said, the other one's a big male. This is a female. They get along great. He's just laid back, chill, and everything else. So we decided to take her, and I think it was like $100 later. Got her antibiotics and all kinds of other stuff to help her out, and she's pretty much back to normal. Leslie Ann Warren, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. You say, hey, Chris, how are you and the family? I'm still getting over COVID. Love and hugs. Oh, damn. That's right. I think I remember you saying that on the latest video, I think it was. Well, here's the thing. Mimi, I asked my kids to say, listen, what would you call her? And they're going, she kind of looks like one of those Hostess cupcakes, black and white. So we decided to call her Tess, or Tessie, right? We call her Tessa, Tessie, so she's probably confused already. But, so we called that, and I went, Tesla. So we just messed around. But basically, we decided to call her Tessie, or Tess. That's a little weird name, but no, I don't think it's bad at all. So, yeah, we decided to just take her, and she's doing a lot better than she was, thankfully for that. So, yeah. Let's see. James, 1977, says, I'm a dog person. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I like dogs as well. Yeah, there you go, Mimi. He said, Chris, she is Mars Anomalies mascot. Hey, there you go. It's funny. She's literally this big. It's hilarious. She was actually a hair bit small in it when I got her. But, you know, and the other, I think it's her brother. He's a lot better than he was. You know, we got his eyes cleaned up too, but there's a bunch of cats back there. And, you know, you wish you could rescue them all, but you're going, ugh, you know, not going to be that. Remember that, like, you always see these memes on Facebook, just like the old person with a bunch of cats all over him or something like that? Yeah, can't do that. Not going to do that. Mike, what you were saying to Mimi? Yeah, we should call her mom, yeah. Mascot of Mars, there you go. Leslie Ann, you said, I like both, Chris, but prefer cats. I mean, like I said, the only reason why I prefer cats more, it's not like I don't love dogs as well. They're more independent. They don't bark. They chill. They're not as big in a house. Don't be knocking over everything. Although cats can be mischievous, like she is, because she's a baby right now, and she likes to get into everything. So she's, you know, got that, gee, I'm going to bite on this wire and see if I can get my teeth sunk into that. So we kind of like, train her to stop doing that. So, yeah. Funny, though. But she'll sleep around, and she'll sleep between my wife and I, and next thing you know, she's like walking all over your face, and yeah, it's funny as hell. But love her, but sometimes you're trying to get sleepy, you're like, should I kill her, or should I just let her sleep and just let her walk around the bed? we'll just let her walk around. Let's see. Steve Garnham, what's going on? Good to see you there, man. Good to see you in there. Frank Centurion said, I like cats. Nothing wrong with that. Pete Ferreira, you said, I see the Russians have pulled out of the space program dominated by the U.S. and the EU. Yeah, imagine that. Hey, maybe they'll start warring with each other and they'll start snitching on each other. What do you think? Instead of disgruntled person, disgruntled space agency? That might be interesting. Somebody drop a birdie into Putin's ear. Hey, rat on him, rat on him. They can't either. They can't do it. Because they got too much to hide. They got too much shit in their closet as well. Bush Corey gas. Yeah. You and I both. That's the end. You said, so, miss you, Chris. I got Omicron. Well, the good thing about Omicron is it's not as bad, right? I mean, can it affect you? Of course. But it's not as bad, which is great. Go hard, you said, I used to live with 3 cats and I loved it. It was fun. Okay, I'm going to go with feline, right? Yeah, let's do that. But yeah, yeah, she's cool. She just, like I said, when you're trying to sleep, she's like walking all over you. She's playing with the blanket. But it's a baby. You got to expect that. Heck, I don't think she was a couple months old. And so I had to get like the imitation milk from the pet store and everything else. So it's kind of closest thing to mommy's milk and all this other crap. And of course the antibiotics and everything else. Now she's back to eating just food and everything. She's fine. Trained and everything. She's good. Let me see here. Let me put this over here. Let's drop that. Drop it like it's hot. Drop. I'll show you this photo right off the bat. This is funny. Now, you would agree, you'd probably say, I don't see anything here. I just see footprints. I see an astronaut. I see him with the sifter that's sifting out the soil. But there's so much in here that's manipulated everything. But just the rock to his right and to the behind him, the bigger one, not this little one right here. Not this one right here to the right of the screen. This one right here. Let me try to get in as close as I can. And then we'll just check out the shape or the edges of this thing. We'll put it right in the middle of the screen. Seriously, what is going on here? I love this. This is funny. Not only does this have this wavy shape under this bigger portion of the rock, but then we have a complete 90-degree corner right there that's kind of inside of this other object. And I don't think it's a rock to begin with, folks. Let me get my fed head out of the way, first of all. Let's do this. Jockey it over here. Make this just, well, not, well, let's make this, I love it when it does that. We'll make this just a little, whoop. That's what happened. Okay, gotcha. All right, right here in the middle. I forgot, I usually have my photo over to the right. But check this thing out in the middle of the screen. Look at the edge, has that kind of weird wavy edge to it. And then you have this 90-degree corner. That's not a rock. They're trying to like smooth it out, make it look like it is, and clearly it's not a rock. You can see that. Let me see. James, your question was, did you hear COVID speeds up the aging of your organs? I haven't heard about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've heard many things, right? Anything from blood clotting to so on and so forth and all this other stuff. But I would think if you're eating a healthy diet, you're doing a cleanse and everything else and keep your body normal, I think you'd be fine. But yeah, some people have that long lasting. Even me, up to just not long ago, it was still affecting me and everything else. It was just weird, but you know, now it's gotten a lot better. So you still have lingering things. Some people still have major issues. Let me see. Whitebeard Sky Daddy, what's happening? Good to see you in there. He said, I'm not particularly a cat person, but this time here goes by the name Moose, adopted my elder mother, and then me. Now he runs the household. They usually do, don't they? They're cool, though. But this right here, now here's another pretty cool one. To the left and back, look at this thing. Almost looks like a shape of a tombstone tilted to the right in the so-called sand or, you know, moon dust. And you can see like just layering of artificial ground. This is not real. A lot of this is not real at all. Let me see, look at these in the back standing up. Kind of a weird shaped object way back there. Right here. Go around a little bit. You're right, Mimi, exactly. You said it looks like the piece was covered up with fake sand. Absolutely. Jordy's Metal Shop said the Ringmakers of Saturn video was terrific, jaw dropping. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many things in these. If you really take a look at a lot of these objects, I don't care if it's a lot of these asteroids, you know, anything of that sort. You just look at these like Bennu, you know, it's just weird some of the features you'll find on there that you should not see. And Prometheus was no different, that moon, Saturn's moon. It's no different. Just things on there that should not be there, or just have these weird shapes to them, shouldn't be there. Not natural. And like I said, if you've seen like one square, you go, trickery of light. It's just the way the photo is. It could be anything, and it just kind of looks that way. But when you get 1, 2, 3, and then another section in the back, it looks like almost like a ladder laying on its side. And you see in the rungs, right? But it's like you can see another one. It's got 3 of them. What's the chances of that? Then you've got in the back, you've got these circles. Then when you really bring it out, there's all kinds of shapes, almost like this thing was designed like this, or at some point it got blown away, and you're seeing like it got hit by something, like a bomb of some sort, and you can see the like what's supposed to be the inner workings as opposed to the skin, right? So yeah. Well, Larry in the Max 3, what's going on? What's real anymore? You got that right. You've got that right. Whitebeard Sky Daddy said the image analysis of the rings of Prometheus, right? I'm sorry, was awesome, Chris. Yeah, I just find these things really, really weird. Now, I'm wondering if Norman Berggren, keep wanting to say his last name kind of weird, but regardless of that, I wonder if what they saw was just that. He saw that or something else. Because remember, they were talking about something that was like almost like a giant pencil, right? And it was at the very end of that particular ring. And you can see it literally has a cutoff. You can look them up on Google, and it literally has that. Let me see if I can find this here. I'm just kind of curious. I'll even give you guys the links to it if I can find it. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of curious here. Let me find images. What was the one I saw? Here it is. I don't know if that's going to show it though. Funny how that's pixelated. It wasn't like that when I seen it the other day. Okay. And this one here's another one saying F-ring patterns. They're showing how Prometheus pulls on the particles and everything else. Really interesting. They got one here it's not the biggest photo. It's like a 688 by 380. Let me do this. Why isn't it showing a photo on it? It's a science paper, but it's like... See if this will show it. This is NASA Cassini images. Alright, I'm going to drop the link to this, and what you can do is look at the photo at the very top of this page. You can see at the very 12 o'clock area, there's literally, you can see a ring that stops. It's right at the bottom. So you have to ask yourself, okay, why would it do that, and what does that in nature? That's a little weird. I'm going to drop it right here. Okay. There it is right there. You can look at it. And like I said, it's NASA Cassini images may reveal birth of a Saturn moon. But you can see this ring actually stops. Saying the disturbance visible at the outer edge of Saturn's A ring. And this image from NASA's Cassini spacecraft results from gravitational effects on ring particles by an object that may be replaying the birth process of icy moons. But yet when they have Norman showing it, you can literally see it. It almost looks like this pin, and that's where the ring stops. It just stops right at the very edge abruptly. So for them to come out with this, and this is a view of April 15, 2013. Full imaging caption. Let's see. See if we can find this bad boy. It's saying small icy object. I like that. But this has been like that for years. So why are they saying now that, oh, maybe it's not that at all? Here's another photo. It's got more information as well as the photo as well. You can check that out. Adam Light Edits says, artificial universes, Well, there's a lot of stuff that's in this solar system that's, more going on than we've ever been told. Let's just put it that way. There's that funky looking rock. I guess this is equipment in the back. You can see that. I want to see something right here on the very left of the screen. On the side looks like something square. That could be part of the equipment too, but you can't tell. It's kind of real vague, but this rock here, no, that's not normal with a 90-degree corner of something. It's almost like an envelope kind of thing. It's stuck in this other part, whatever this is, and has that wavy edge to it now. That's not normal. And it's not natural. Mimi, the ring makers ran out of money. Yes, sounds about right. Hillbilly Tarzan, what's happening? Good to see you in there. They're now saying other planets are starting to develop rings. I think Neptune and Jupiter. Yeah, I heard the same thing. They also said they might have found an outer planet. The what? Well, it would be the 9th planet now because we used to have what? We used to have 9 until Pluto became a body. But the other further planet. But here's the thing, like I said, if you look this up, some of these scientists are saying we have like, I don't know, 23 planets or something along them lines that are way out orbiting our star, our sun, and that they're way out. Now, only a couple of scientists are saying this. Not everybody's saying this. Maybe they're just not coming out because they're going, I don't know, maybe they'll think we're fruitcakes. Who the hell knows, right? For whatever reason. But to me, that just seems like, you know, it doesn't surprise me, and I don't think that should be a secret. Who gives a crap, right? You're like, okay, more planets. You know, why would it matter? Rayo 711, what's going on? He said, hello from Liverpool, UK. What's going on? Good to have you in there, and I hope you're doing well. You know, that may sound crazy to some people, Hillbilly, but you said maybe they're dumping waste from mining operations around the planet. It kind of makes sense, right? In a way, if they are doing that. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure they could just dump it on another part of the planet, but, you know, who knows? I don't know. Maybe it's their way, if they have the rings, maybe they have, and this is just speculation. What would happen if they had like all these, maybe they didn't live on the planet, but they lived inside the rings, meaning like the small crafts, but they're basically homes. As crazy as that may sound, but if you're camouflaged within these rings, you would think nothing of it until you can approach the rings and really look at them and see anything that say, okay, that doesn't look normal. Because the particles must be pretty darn big to be seen from a telescope here on Earth. They say particles. They have to be much bigger than a particle, I would think. Ah, M9 says, I love you people. Please keep being paranoid. There ain't nothing to be paranoid about. When you can see something factually, like this on the screen, do you think that's paranoia? Or do you think that's a normal rock? You got to go by what you see as facts. That's a fact. That's not a picture that has been modified. Well, not by us. This is, I think this is Apollo 16. Yeah, this is Apollo 16. AS 16-11-18826HR. That's the ID number of this photo, okay? Look it up. In fact, I can drop the link. Of course, it'll have to be dropped later because I'm live. But anyway, if you believe that's natural, or people are being paranoid, why would it be paranoid of a rock? But anyway, that's not normal. So, yeah. Flux capacitor, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Sean, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. Yeah, Valerian. Yeah, he's a paranoid, more like awake. We're not asleep no more. Well, here's the thing, and I understand, because you can go to some of these channels and they really blow it up to like, oh my God, check this out, look at it. Oh, we're all going to die, what kind of thing, whatever. Yeah, it's not paranoia when you can literally see something that's right there in the photo that doesn't make sense. Like, this should be natural, and that's not natural at all. This has been doctored, and you can see, like, areas right here just above it. You can see where they've actually gone over this, and it's a known fact that they've airbrushed these photos. All you gotta do is just check it out yourself. It's, you know, I don't know why anybody would be paranoid over that, but whatever. Another one. Kamer, I guess it's Kamer. Do you think we actually went to the moon? Absolutely. Why would we not? Eric Wid, what's going on? Good to see you in there. You said still here. Awesome. Celtic Hammer, he said, I can't believe that's a real rock because I wasn't there to photograph it. True. you have to ask yourself, though, if, and I've said this a million times, so for the people here who are questioning what we do, ask yourself this question. Let's suppose you're correct. They never went to the moon. Everybody says, oh, it's been in a giant building. They filmed it. It's a giant set, blah, blah, blah. Then why modify the photo? Because they're perfectly capable of making a landscape inside a building without having to modify the photo. Think about this a minute. You can have the space buggy there, I mean the moon buggy, astronaut dressed up like he is in this photo. You can have all of that. So what would be the need to modify a photo if they didn't go to the moon? Sean, you said paranoia doesn't apply anyhow. At the very least, it's interesting. Absolutely. Well, like I said, I don't care that people come in here and they have doubts. And I'm glad that you're here, truthfully. Because I'll be honest with you, when I first started off doing this, like the Mars photos and these photos, I went, please, this is all a bunch of crap. I've seen other people doing them, but they really weren't diving into these photos like I do, literally dissecting them and seeing things that are literally being painted over. Let me ask you a question for the non-believers. Do you believe there's a such thing as a transparent rock? And I'm not talking about a crystal, I'm talking about rocks. Well, some of these photos on Mars, you can see objects inside a rock, like a square or something like that, or a see-through rock. You can see something behind this rock, and yet it's transparent. Do you believe in transparent rocks? I, for one, don't. But I do believe that you can paint over something, because they do have what they call a rock mimicking software. So they can literally put something, let's say you had this cup in this photo here. I can literally just dress it up, boom, make it look like a rock. You'd be none the wiser. However, if it's not completely, if it is slightly transparent, let's say it's 20% transparent, then you can see an outline of said object. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You say, how is this possible? How do I look through a rock? That doesn't make sense. So that makes sense to nobody. Adam Light, you said so much infrastructure. Why all the money spent on telescopes, big bucks? Well, that's probably what prompted them too, if you think about it. You know, they started making they've had telescopes for years, right? Of course, a lot of them were crude. Basically, they're just a crystal. It wasn't any highly polished mirrors and, focal points inside there and perfectly set up, completely smooth, basically high definition, they call it, mirrors. So as these gotten better, they started looking at the moon more and more. And then they said one day they went, what the hell is that on the moon? That doesn't look like a rock or a hill. What is that? So what did they do? They finally found something on there and went, okay, this doesn't look normal. This doesn't look natural. We're talking about a good-sized telescope. We're not talking about something somebody can use in their backyard. We're talking about something huge where they can literally look at this thing and go, clearly that's not natural. Get up there. Let's find out what this is. So they go up there, and they weren't up there just to collect sand and rocks. They weren't up there for that. Trust me. This is a recon mission. It's one thing to go up there one time and go, all right, we got our sand. We did our core samples, because they did do some core sampling. Got some dust, got some rocks, and then come back. But how many missions were there? 7? Well, on the moon itself. I'm not talking about orbiting as well, because 10 was orbiting, and I think 9 was catastrophic somewhat, so on and so forth. But so as far as missions on the moon, feet on the moon, why would you need to go there that many times? No, don't get me wrong, they weren't in the same spot. They were in different areas, of course. But the point is, it's like they're there for something more than that. And I found so many photos on there that show things that are like bigger than these astronauts in the background. You can still see the lines of these objects, but somehow they almost got rid of them. But you can still see the outline. Bring out the outlines more. In other words, the lines that are already there, bring them out more. Now you can see the shape of this object. You may never know what it is to save your life, but the thing is, that doesn't look normal. It looks like something like a machine, a structure, whatever it may be. It's there. You know what I mean? Marcel, what's going on? Good to see you in there. M9, you said I meant it in a good way. Sometimes my humor doesn't come through the right way on the chats. Chris, by the way, maybe you checked out the Mars structure I sent you about a month ago. Did you send it on Facebook or was it on... Had to been Facebook, right? Oliver Klein, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Been a while, so it's good to see you. Hillbilly Tarzan, you said, what did, in quotes, the evil German leader say about stars? Something about people finding out they're actually different worlds and not suns. I just can't remember exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of writings about this. People just don't, you know, if you haven't really looked into this, it's all new to you. You're just going to go, it's crap. It's as simple as that, right? So, yeah. And they said this object here, too. It's like it's leaned over to the side. Like I said, it looks like a tombstone to me. I don't know. But... Sith God 1, he said, what do you think about aliens have secret underground bases on the Earth? I'm not surprised. I'm not saying I can prove it, but I wouldn't be surprised because here's the thing. Even, they're trying to figure out just how old man is. And what I mean by that is intelligent man. Now, man's been on the first, you remember way back in the day, it was like, oh, the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Anyway, then we were 17,000 because you start looking at these ancient artifacts and ancient civilizations that lived here on Earth. Go back to like Tepe. You know, this goes back 17,000, 20,000 years. Go to, you know, Egypt. You know, the Sphinx is far older than the actual pyramids. You know, it just keeps going back. Then we're up to 250,000 years old. Now 500,000 years old. Now we're even more than that. We don't know. Now, current science will say a certain year, or say, well, when I say year, I mean date. What they, you know, and their best hypothesis, how old man is, until something new comes into the mix. This is the current understanding, and this is what they believe. But because there's not, well, I should say because there's nothing for them to believe that we're any older than that. But that doesn't mean we're not. We're just going by our present understanding and our findings. This is it. So I believe we're much older than that. How do we know before, you know, man was put on Earth, or came to be on Earth, there wasn't other civilizations here? I believe there was, and I believe that they could have lived underground. You know, Earth could have went through a violent situation, kind of like Mars did, where they were like, you know, we live underground and we live above ground. They just decided, okay, just stay underground. How do we know? We don't. We're only guessing, of course, and speculating. Of course, you know, that's just the way it is. But that doesn't mean that there isn't. I believe there's something deep under the ocean, under the ocean floor, or they can go way down, like the Marianas Trench, come down to an area close to that depth, and go right back up into like a underground, where you come up and it's a lake, and you literally get like a city underground. How do we know? We wouldn't be able to tell because it's shielded by all kinds of rock and tons upon tons upon tons upon rock. So we wouldn't be able to even know that they were there. Unless, of course, we went underwater and we just kind of scouted around and, you know, listened to maybe different frequencies and different things, and or physically went under there and found them. You know, either way. Okay, you said M9, you said I sent the photos via, okay. Please check them. I have spent totally blown away the email heading. Okay. How long ago did you send that, M9? Pete Ferrari says, isn't funny NASA figures Mars has a landmass as Earth, but won't be honest about what they found on Mars. What's funny about it now is they're saying, that there's actually activity under Mars's crust. Like volcanic action. I went, well, that's not a surprise, because they had one of the other 3 volcanoes started to erupt. Now, we don't know just how active it is, right? But something tells me it's more alive than we think, or they're telling us. Eric Gowie said all first Earth age artifacts, it's all in the Bible. He said millions of years. Oh yeah, it goes back millions, right? But it's funny how it's almost like you got to do your own footwork, right? You can't just go by what anybody says. That's like what I do in my own videos. I go, look at guys, this is what I found in the video. Here's the original. Go check it out for yourself. And a lot of people actually take it and they put it in a Photoshop and everything anyway, and they find it for themselves. They'll either agree or they won't. Simple as that. I don't care. It's because I want people to be able to delve into these things too and find it for themselves and come up with your own, whether you believe it's true or not. So come to your own conclusion, and that's what the channel's all about. It's not to stuff it in your face. It's about to say, listen, this is what's going on. This is how they're censoring these photos. This is what I found in it. What do you think? You just say, hey, I agree with you. Or it's not to jam it down your throat. It's to get a collective going saying, let's analyze these, find out what the truth is. That's all. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Oh, Ricardo Petrozzi, I didn't even see you in there. I must have hopped in this thing probably when I jumped down. Whitebeard Sky Daddy says, Earth humans can only scratch the mantle. There are vast regions beneath the ground of any planetary body. Yes. Well, I mean, it's like the moon, right? Here's a perfect example. There's a lot of ancient lava tubes, right? So that's what they're thinking. They want to build some of these bases, moon bases, put them either in craters or underground in these ancient lava pits. Oh, these tubes, right? And because you'll be sheltered from any radiation, so on and so forth. It just makes sense. Ground is a good insulator. Okay. M9, you said the email was sent on the 13th of August. There's part 1 and 2. Okay, I will check it out. Definitely check it out. Flux Capacity said, I think we are part of the reason there was a Bible war in the heavens. We are a petri dish. Or like a giant ant farm? That's what I've heard too. Yeah, I am more interested in the history of disco in the galaxy. Maybe the aliens were getting down long before we were. Oh, hard to tell. Oh, yeah. Vanilla Pat, you said, Chris, have you been seeing those YouTube shorts showing cities supposedly found on Mars? Yeah, this guy does this all the time. Did you see the one that we just had? I just saw it yesterday. It was like a puddle of water, and even the people who were seeing through it, they were like, bro, we can literally see the reflection of the trees in the water. CGI. Yeah, these people are idiots. They got like, one was like a gate, looked like a stone gate or something like that, found on Mars. I'm going, oh my God. And they go, well, how come, I had one guy ask me, I said, well, how come you haven't found these? I went, because it's not real. These people are putting this stuff in these photos and making videos of it to boot, which is crazy. Because it's clearly not real. Okay, you said photos are big files? Okay, we'll definitely check them out. Ricardo, you said, bang on Chris, Mars has definitely got seismic and magma, activity. Just another symptom of solar system-wide changes manifesting with all planets right now. You got that right. And we're going to get into that too, because there's a lot more going on in the solar system, and it's just going to get worse and worse, and it's not going to look too good for us either. No fear-mongering, don't get me wrong, but it's something you should be aware of, and we're going to be getting into that too. Steve Gardner said, waiting for a train on Waterloo Station. Catch up later. All right, Steve, be safe. Good to have you in there anyway. You know, just good to stop in. Valerian, the Mag 3 says, Great Pyramids were built way before Egyptian culture. That's why there is no hieroglyphs inside them and no mummies in them. Well, they claim that they came along and these pyramids were there, right? And the Great Pyramid basically had no hieroglyphs. The other ones did because they were actually burial pyramids, right? You can actually see what, you know, they have hieroglyphs and everything else in them. But the Great Pyramid of Giza has nothing in it. This is the one they keep claiming that it was some ancient power station or something of that sort, because there's a lot of stuff missing from the gallery inside that pyramid. So they're wondering what the hell happened. I can tell you what happened. They robbed the darn thing. You know, it's been going on for years and years, hundreds of years. They've been stealing out of these grave sites and everything else they can possibly pillage. That's what's going on. Ricardo Petrozzi, thank you very much for your support as always, my friend. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Chris, good to have you back. Good to be back. It's awesome. Whitebeard Sky Daddy, thank you very much for your support as well. You said you're worth $1 million to me, but I can only give you 10 right now. Darn, can you give me the rest later? Oh, no, I appreciate you. Nah, that's just awesome. You know, what the heck is that? Oh, I hate it when it does that. I just went to go move the mouse and thing jumps as usual. But I appreciate you guys. I really do. There's another one I just seen here. That's not the one I was looking for. There was another comment here I was just trying to find. I don't know where it went. John Steve said there was a very serious article in Scientific America, but an editor defending the idea of the universe as a simulation. This by a serious Nobel hunting scientist. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that more than once, that it's a simulation. I don't know that it is. My personal opinion is that a lot of this stuff may be actual constructs. In other words, they're not fake. We don't live in some kind of weird matrix or anything of that sort. Picture like Star Wars. Like, planets are actually, they don't have to be like killer stars, if you will, or these kind of things like like Star Wars itself. But a lot of these things, I think there's a lot more life in our solar system before we came to be what we are. Or we're descendants of some of these planets and now we're here on Earth. Or, like I said before, we could have been like kind of coexisting at one point thousands of years ago with Mars. Pure speculation. What's weird is, like I said, I've showed you things that I thought was like smoking gun on Mars, what looked like vehicles and weird stuff. It doesn't make sense. You're just going, how does that make sense to anybody? At least that's what it looks like. Doesn't mean that's what it is. And there's no way we can prove it anyway. But just wild to say the least. A mess into a message. Okay, that's kind of long, but yeah, cool. I think we came from Mars. Well, if you believe in the theory of panspermia, then that's a very good possibility. And scientists, a lot of scientists are on board with that. Meaning something struck Mars at one point, which it did. And of course there was 2 explosions on Mars as well. But something happened back, you know, X amount of years ago. And that could have started life here on this planet. You know, of course you get all kinds of ejecta come off Mars and it makes its way. They found a lot of little meteors and stuff like that. And I think it was in Antarctica, where they found, like I said, they found it to be something from Mars. So it would not surprise me if we came from another planet. There's no way to actually prove that, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. You know, you got to remember carbon, when supposedly the Big Bang, and I've already told you how I feel about the Big Bang, because, you know, I was saying there's multiple for a reason, because there's multiple Big Bangs, judging by, you know, like I said, red drift and everything else that's going on in the universe, and other planets colliding and so on and so forth. So, and of course they come out and actually said that. It's a random thing now, which I already said this, was basically it's more than one. But So if there's carbon scattered throughout the universe and the basic ingredients to life, why does it surprise anybody there could be life on other planets? Or we could have came from another planet somehow. Panspermia, whichever reason, whichever way we got here. How do we know? It shouldn't surprise anybody. Metalhead. Holy cow, he lives! Yes, I do. How are you doing, Metalhead? Good to see you in there. Hangout says all of us are from a different planet, solar systems, galaxies, and universes. We are prisoners. Well, they always say it's the prison planet, right? It's like, well, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Escape from New York. they had it on, what was it, Staten Island, I think? Basically, it was like a prison island, and they just drop food in there, and people just, you know, the strongest survive and the weakest don't. Is it possible that we're kind of like that? It's like, well, these people are nothing but, you know, bad people. Throw them on this planet. Let them have it out. And that's basically what's going on. I'm not sure that that's the reason, or that's why we're here. But if we can only figure out how to get along, that'd be great. Nobody's figured that out yet. Celtic Hammy said Buzz Aldrin was caught opening his spacesuit visor to smoke a cigar. That's a new one to me. I've never seen that. Hillbilly Tarzan, he said the Anunnaki story talks about the lesser Anunnaki, the IgG, were on Mars at the time they were here. Well, they claim that they were mining on Mars as well, and it was also a settlement. Well, of course, that was the same way here, and of course we were mining. They were mining in Africa, I believe it was, basically mining for gold and everything else for the Anunnaki, you know, for their atmosphere. That's the story anyway, right? I am Merkin. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you in there as well. He said, "Hi, Chris. Glad to catch you, and nice to see you." Well, it's good. Nice to see you too, man. It's cool. It's a lot of people are just popping out of the woodwork, and I know some of you folks that you couldn't be on like in the Friday afternoon or evening because it was like 5 p.m. Eastern time or 4, and so a lot of times people are like, I can't do it, man. I gotta get up Saturdays and stuff like that. So, which kind of sucks that you can't. James, we'll say James Razorbacks. That's pretty cool. It's plain and simple. If we think we're the only life forms on Earth, in the universe, I'm sorry, you're crazy. But the new pics from James Webb. Oh, of course. I mean, all you can do is look out there and see all the stars and the planets and, oh my God, there's no way. MG Toe, what's happening? Good to see you in there. So we traveled here from a galaxy far, far away in a comet. We were fish-like creatures sent here from planets in collision. Well, that's a possibility too. Nobody really knows exactly. They're just going by, well, Big Bang, and then of course, planets were made, it's cooled, and this happened, and certain chemicals got together, and boom, boom, boom. I don't believe that's the case. That's just me. I don't think that's the case at all. Gene Borsier, what's happening? It's good to see you in there. So Earth is not so much a prison planet as much as it is a lifeboat. We are all a mix of previous great advanced societies that collapsed. Wish the world governments would stop covering it up. Yeah, I mean, there's much more to us than, they just don't want us to seem like, oh, well, if they think, they're special somehow, then whatever, for whatever reason. Because, they want to stifle everybody and just keep everybody in the, basically dumbed down. They don't want you to think. They don't want critically thinking people. No, no. La la, you said Mission to Mars is a good movie interpretation. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good one. Trouble's Blading, he said, just wanted to say hi, got here late, so gonna start from the top. All right, good to have you in there, man. Adam Light, you said there's so much dis or misinformation and mind control. The truth is in the basics. Yep. Metalhead, you said Joe from Art Alien TV actually is incredibly talented. Yeah, you find some interesting stuff on there, that's for sure. It's been a while since I've talked to Joe. I need to get with him and see what's going on. I mean, he's still cranking them out, which is good. But he does find some incredible stuff. Renee V agrees, says yes, he is an Art Alien top channel. Flux Capacity said, I have caught on to whatever anybody discusses is related to what is being introduced, fed, and then via media shows. Mm-hmm. Ricardo said, the universe is alive with the sound of music. It is complete with beauty. Oh, complete, I think, well, no, with beauty and awe everywhere we look, and is shaped by electromagnetics and harmonics at every scale. Yeah, because, I mean, if you listen to the planets too, right, they have their own song, so to speak. Of course, this is due to gravity, molecules, so on and so forth, that gives that, just the singing or the sound of their, each of them. Pretty cool. James, he said, and it seems we're looking for planets that could support what we need to survive, but evolution is real and life will adapt in whatever it needs to survive. Well, yeah, of course. It will find a way, right? I am Merkin. He said some of these moon landing photos are really bad, like the footprint under a landing strut. Definitely a giveaway. Yeah, there's so many things. Listen, I've seen like the moon buggy, right? I'm looking at them going, why do the wheels look weird? It's like they try to go around the wheels to hide whatever this thing is went over, and it's like they just kind of went into the wheel itself, and you can see where it's all jagged into the wheel, and I'm talking about halfway up. I'm not talking about like on the bottom where there might be like a little bit jagged rocks. I'm talking about literally around the shape of the actual moon buggy. I'm going, what the heck is that? It's just, oh, really piss poor. But see, back then, if you would have seen these photos, you would have thought nothing of it, would have never questioned it. Like the average person would look at this photo and go, oh, yeah, just another moon photo. That's cool. That's cool. Have a look at the back of it. Look at some of these weird rocks, like to the right of this, like I showed you earlier. John Cordes, he said, hey Chris, did you get a chance to watch my story on YouTube? And if so, what did you think? maybe I'm just not recognizing the name, but were you talking about, oh my God, some of your experiences? Because I'm thinking I did. Just a name I'm not matching, I'm not putting them together. If so, I did. Really, really interesting. Valerian the Mac 3 is a question. What's the moon sand made of? Can you make moon glass? If it's anything like well, they call it moon dust or sand and stuff like that, depending on what part of the moon you go to. But they have found like a shiny material, like some of the glass was melted in some of these areas. So I believe that you can. I believe you can. It's almost the same substance here on Earth, of course, not quite. But if it's similar to glass, the make of the sand is similar to that, then it obviously if it's melted at high heat, it can be made into glass, right? Because they did find, was it China that found shiny substance on the surface? I'm almost positive it was them. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Celtic Hammy said, oh, these is thinking of opening a store on Mars. Interesting, I like that. McDonald's will probably follow. All right, Big Mac, everyone, let's go. Brian West, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Steve Gardner was just saying the same thing, McDonald's. That's funny. Leslie Ann, you said, right, Chris, and all, I'm very tired. The shock of losing my cat, Mistra. Don't care about, I just like money, so I'll say night, be back later. Oh, Mitra needs me. And I'm sorry to hear that, Leslie Ann. You know, I hate that. It's happened recently to us, so I understand how you feel. But yeah, sorry to hear that. But we will catch you later and be careful there, right? Metalhead, there you go. It's a moon Mac. I like that. I like the sound of that. So, new territory. America's top aerospace sleuths join UFO hunt. Hunt? What are we hunting for? Okay, we know there's UFOs. Well, real UFOs are from out there. Now, people will say, well, how do you know that there's UFOs from out there? Well, if there's civilizations out there, clearly they had to have gotten here somehow. Now, I don't believe that they all are. I believe a lot of it's made here on Earth, and I've been saying this for how long? Just nobody's going to say, oh, yeah, by the way, we designed that. Yeah, just so you know. You're welcome. And nobody's going to do that. They're going to keep this all a secret because think about it. If you were any country here on Earth and you could design such an object, basically a drone that can fly incredibly fast, and I'm talking about not some of these, what do they call them, racing drones. Some of them things are insane. They fly like ungodly speeds. So if you could get something like that to fly but more technologically advanced, then you'd be like, oh my God, this is cool. And you can literally outrun anything out there. So especially if you set it, you go, okay, I'm going to set it to go to Iraq. Let's just throw a country. I'm going to go to Iraq. I'm going to go to these coordinates, have a look around, and then fly back. And the thing is so incredibly fast. It's got its own, you know, it can travel by it just knows where the terrain is. It knows what to look out for. It's no different than what we have on Mars, right? It can drive autonomously, these rovers. So get something that can fly like that, okay? And it knows what to look out for. It's got sensors all around it. It knows it won't fly into anything. It knows the terrain, you know, it knows, you know, height of structures, whatever it may be, okay? Fly there, have a look around, meaning, you know, military bases, silos, whatever it may be, okay? And then report back, send it back through either satellite, and then send it back. And we could travel with impunity and you can't do a damn thing about it. Nah. I mean, how do we know? Hillbilly, you said the question was, what is the big square thing in the ground behind the astronaut? See, that's what I was thinking earlier. That was, well, wrong one. Let me see, that should have been right here. if you're talking about this right here, to the right of them, that looks like some of their equipment, I believe, because a lot of it was, well, at least it looked white. Now, this thing to the right of it, if you go to the right, like I said, it almost looks like some kind of shape of a like tombstone kind of thing. I'll put it right in the middle of the screen, right about there. It's like just tilted to the right. However, a lot of this I could tell, just the way it's going over, you can see like some blur and stuff like that. This has been added. And if so, these guys were pretty crafty even way back then. However, someone said probably they didn't have like, you know, like we have Photoshop today. Well, that doesn't mean that they didn't start going over the photos much later. In other words, you know, if you go back to Apollo 11, you're talking, of course, this is Apollo 16. You go to Apollo 11, you're talking, you know, anywhere from, if you go to these Apollo missions, what, from 69 or earlier than that. But I mean, as far as landing on the moon, from 69 to what, 72, whatever it may be. You know, when you think about it, they probably started doctoring us up probably in the late 70s, early 80s, thinking, well, these people are going to really start analyzing these photos. We better do something about it. Is that my voice? So they're probably saying, we need to do something about these photos, right? Common sense. Terry Kelling, thank you very much for your support. Always a supporter of the channel. I do appreciate you as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. That's cool. That's awesome. There you go, Celtic Hammer. He said, spearmint flavored UFO Tic Tacs are now flying off the shelves. Literally. Scott Doran, you say, hello. MAB, what's happening? Good to see you in there, Scott. Think you're a newcomer here. Good to see you in there. Ali Khan, what's happening? Good to see you in there. Oops, and you just jumped on me again. I love that. Gotta love it. Let's do that. There we go. Like I said, I believe a lot of these, what we're seeing from the military, nothing more than test drones. That's all these things are. Now, again, it makes you wonder if they're doing this to see how people would react to something possibly being otherworldly. Think about it. The train. Better catch a train. Gotta go. Oh. Again, Terry, thank you. You know, I've always said this. I'm going, listen, show me a real photo of it. Don't show me anything. This is just crap. I just find it hard to believe that there's no operations during the day. I find it hard to believe that these things only come out at night just to kind of haunt them at night. Come on. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. Show me a real photo, then we'll talk. Other than that, it's a bunch of crap. The Awoken One, what's happening? I'm with Chris on this. I'm in opinion UFOs are made by humans, but it was alien knowledge that gave us the ability to create UFOs. Yeah, I believe that too. You know, they basically back engineered them, right? Now, I believe there's other civilizations out there with, you know, means of transporting here. I do believe that, 100%. Can we prove it? Absolutely not. Let me see. Metalhead, you said, does anyone know why we have square clouds? Not 100% sure. Oh, you're talking about... I am Murky said that close-up, I can see the CCP flag in the background. I think that was just another one of the marker. I seen that too, right there in the back under his elbow, or under his pack rather, I'm sorry. But right there, yeah. Of course, it wouldn't surprise me. They probably, I believe they worked together back in the day too. Sean, thank you very much for your support as well. Man, you guys are just awesome today. Just bam, knocking out the park. Keep up the great work, Chris. I appreciate it, Sean, and thanks for being here. Matt Patterson. Been while here. Good to see you there, man. Matt is in the house. Moonder 6 Skywatch, what's going on? Bonjour, Chris, from France. Take care of you. Yeah, good to see you in there, man. It's been a while since you've been in there, too. Like I said, maybe just a weird timing on some of these Hangouts, like the one, like I said, we normally have on Friday. Scott Dorian, you said a lot of these photos need to be viewed from above. And you can. Like, I had this guy, I forget what his channel is now. He was literally, like, taking everything I did from these moon photos, going, well, listen, here's the thing. He's claiming that it's here, but I can go look at the what is it, no? I don't know if it's the topographical. I don't know if that was that one or he was trying to do, I think it was like a satellite view, but he would, like, zoom in, and then you could see, look, there's nothing there. And if you looked at his photo, he was absolutely right. I've been wrong all this time. No. This is what he doesn't get. If you folks have ever seen that, there was one, it was a moon photo. This thing was awesome. It's still out there. It's on the internet. It was like the most pristine photo of the moon yet. I mean, when you look at this thing, it's crystal clear, right? Until you zoom into the max. You know what happens? As soon as you zoom in and keep going, all of a sudden, squares. What it is there's a bunch of photos, and I'm talking about, I don't know how many photos are involved with this thing, but there's a bunch of them stitched together. The second you start to move out, it looks like all one planet. Well, not planet, I'm sorry, moon. But it looks like all one photo, but it is not. When you go into this, I think I did a video on this, you can see like one photo, small one that is stitched to the next one is literally blurred out. They're literally hiding things in these photos. But when you zoom out, you see none of that. You see absolutely zip. You go, yeah, I don't see it in here. This guy's right. This Chris is full of crap. It's not true. When you zoom into this, suddenly it breaks apart. Not only breaks apart where you can't see anything. It literally has like, I forget how many photos. I'm going to just call it 500 photos. And I know there's more than that. But there's a photo. They're all stitched together to make up this pristine moon photo. The second you get into max zoom, you can see all the individual photos. Some of them you can see blur right on it. I mean, purposely put in areas like squares of blur. Yeah, you go by that. Sure. Yeah, they're going to be on the up and up. Yeah, not much, Matt. He said, what up, Chris? Not much, just chilling. Chilling with you folks. Equalizer, what's happening? He said, whoa, you hear my American brother? Wow. Yeah, it's been a while, huh? So I think we jump in there and just need that fix, you know what I mean? Got to talk to my fam. Got to see what's going on. I mean, what you said, yes, Chris, lots going on the moon. Absolutely. Ali Khan says, awakening. Mimi, you said maybe they see our planet as an outpost. Yeah, I mean, I think the moon was like that. And they kept it on. You know, some people say, well, maybe these aliens lived on the moon. And this is the reason why you have diversity of, you know, you have blacks, Hispanics, European, so on and so forth. They think that one guy said to me, do we know there's any truth to this? But said the very same thing, saying, and then what they did is they put us on different parts of the planet, and they wanted to see how we'd evolve together at some point. Because in other words, you were separate groups at one point, and then you just, you know, of course, you multiply, you know. And next you know, you start interacting, how these people are going to react with each other. And basically, again, we're like a giant ant farm, and they're keeping an eye on us. I don't know if that even sounds far-fetched or whatever, but who the hell knows, right? Ricardo, he said, regards to the glass-like melted surface from lunar rocks, Apollo 15, 16, and 17 all collected samples of black and green glass rocks. Composition is also well documented. Okay, yeah. But I think China just found one not long ago, too, a few years back, 2-3 years back. But yeah. Eric Gower says, UAP? Man-made UFO? I don't know. But like I said, these guys here, oh yeah, we're gonna get into this. We're gonna see if these things are real. The country's largest organization of government and private sector technical, I'm sorry. I don't know why, hold on. There we go. Experts are launching a project to study unidentified, well, UAPs. After concluding that recent incursions by mysterious craft pose a safety hazard to military and commercial aircraft, according to people involved in the effort. Wrong, no. Now, they have said that there was, well, some of these craft would get like right in the front of, you know, like a commercial aircraft or whatever, right? If they have the capability of flying, they're not likely to run into something that we fly. I think they can pretty much navigate pretty well. I'm sure their navigation systems on their craft are not in beta form. You can bet they pretty much got it down pat, right? So The American Institute for Aeronautics and Astronautics, which include among its members the country's largest defense, I was going to say dense, well, they are pretty dense, and NASA contractors, have established 3 committees to study the technology, how incursions affect pilot and passenger safety, and to coordinate with government agencies. The international researchers are also focused on the topic. Okay, I get that. Pentagon now reports about 400 UFO encounters. We want to know what's out there. Officials are reasonably sure pyramid-shaped objects in one video were drones. I don't see why that could, that's a very good possibility. But again, don't show this crap here. This is what's ridiculous.
Like these, challenging the limits of physics that raise potential security risks that were too big to ignore.
Oh my gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
The military releasing this 2015 video 2 years ago showing naval pilots off the coast of California completely stunned.
We were seeing them nearly every day that we were flying.
Today, for the first time since the 1960s, members of the House Intelligence Subcommittee and top Pentagon officials discussing the topic of UFOs, now referred to as UAPs or unidentified aerial phenomenon.
We are committed to a focused effort to determine their origins.
In 2004, the Pentagon acknowledged tracking more than 140 reports of UAPs. But today, Deputy Director for Naval Intelligence Scott Bray says efforts to encourage pilots to report mysterious encounters has swelled the number they're investigating to approximately 400. Last year, a government report found a definitive explanation for only one of the encounters. Bray says one video was a distortion stemming from light passing through night vision goggles. As for a second video showing a shiny spherical object,
I do not have an explanation for what this specific object is.
Bray confirmed that the military has never fired missiles at a UFO or recovered any non-terrestrial wreckage. Still, the Pentagon says it's determined to remove the stigma associated with reporting sightings.
The inability to understand objects in our sensitive operating areas is tantamount to an intelligence failure.
Unidentified aerial phenomena are a potential national security threat.
Now, Navy and Air Force crews have step-by-step procedures for reporting on UAPs right in their cockpit. Ike Ajachi, ABC News, Washington.
Interesting. So, Josh D, it says right here, sadly, got to go early. Thank you, Chris, and all. All right, Josh D, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate your support. You know how it goes. You are awesome. Have yourself a good week coming up because we are on Sunday, right? I'm so used to being on Fridays. But, yeah, have yourself a good one. I don't see them as, if they're just worried about colliding with these things. What do you guys think? We've already talked about this many times. They're not a threat to us. If they were a threat to us, they would have killed us off a long time ago. They already know how if they've been following us along, then they know how we're growing, if you will, as far as military-wise. Excuse me. So why do they believe any of us are a threat if they are, in fact, from out there? Doesn't make sense. Eric Gowie said, why recover what we already own? Yeah. And to me, it's a joke. I think it's an absolute joke. I'll have a client. There you go. Swamp gas. Interesting. Whitebeard Sky Daddy. Poor little helpless Earth governments. Yeah, they want to. I mean, it's almost like they're backpedaling, right? Like they're saying, oh, they already know about UFOs and other things on the moon and everything else. Now, keep in mind, is it possible that some of these people don't know? Meaning you're different branches of the military. You just don't have a clue. Very good possibility. A lot of these places, you have certain classifications and clearances to know whatever, need to know basis. So if you're not, then you're not privy to it. And if the other people that are in these other branches that know what's going on, they're sworn to secrecy. They're not going to tell you either. Unless, of course, you're both drunk and you both tell each other secrets. But it just doesn't make sense to me that, they're like, oh, we got to know, we want to know what's out there. You know what's out there. So what's the big deal? Now, they may want to know where they're coming from. It'd be hard to track them. Think about it. If these guys can, if these civilizations have crafts that can fly like the speed of light, if not faster, it'd be hard to track that. I mean, to see exactly what planet it comes from and then comes here, it'd be almost impossible. Eric Gowie said they all know. Of course. Marina Reppin, what's going on? Repan, I think. Greetings, everyone. What's going on, Marina? Good to see you in there. Pete Ferreira said, if our subs can go deep in oceans, why not advanced technology spacecrafts? Exactly. And they claim that they're underwater ones, right? Aircraft, well, underwater and aircrafts, that can literally go underwater and basically go through water pretty quickly, you know, because if they have like if they're in their own bubble, if you will, then they can just literally cruise through the oceans, right? So yeah, why couldn't they? Randall Tufts, you said, I'm a retired commercial pilot. I have had plenty of plane day sightings over 28 years flying. It's not drones. Oh, I almost guarantee it's not. And especially if it's been 28 years of flying. If you've seen this in the very beginning of flying, meaning being a pilot, and you've seen these things then, we're talking 28 years ago, they didn't really have drones unless it was just purely military. And even then, they were probably very crude compared to what they are now, right? Mimi Reacts, she says, has never collected UFO wrecks. Yeah, exactly. Remember that? Yeah, you said they never shot them down? Oh, of course not. Oh, they never used missiles, maybe lasers. Oh, we weren't supposed to say that. Unidentified natural swamp gas. Shit, there we go. See? Now it's all clear. I mean, what you said, we get intelligent and then it all collapses. Look at the past, the real past, before the Inca and so forth. While it's going on, the planet does its thing. We are stuck in the middle. Yep. Eric Gowie said the UFOs are another story. I'm not sure who knows what about those things, but the UAPs are ours. Yeah, I believe they're ours because it's funny how, again, it's just a different night vision or, you know, like I said, infrared. It just doesn't make sense, right? Come on. Experts weigh in on Pentagon UFO report. The vast majority of examined incidents were not caused by U.S. advanced technology programs. The forthcoming report concludes. So what's going on? Ooh. Let me see. For more than a decade, the U.S. Department of Defense has been quietly categorizing, and investigating scores of bizarre encounters, most from the U.S. Navy, of ships and fighter jets entangling with or being tailgated by unidentified flying objects. Beginning in 2017, it's funny how they're only going to 2017, videos and eyewitness accounts of these weird sightings found their way into public view, ultimately spurring Congress to demand that the Pentagon produce a report summarizing all of the U.S. government knows about so-called unidentified aerial phenomenon. Just call them UFOs. Stop with the new frickin' or UAPs. An alternative term with considerably less stigma than the much. Oh, okay. So, but what's the difference though? It's still unidentified, regardless of whatever you want to call it. You call it a flying spaghetti monster for all I care. But I just think that's pretty funny. Pentagon says it has solved a number of famous UFO sightings, but admits there are many that still have no explanation. The majority of UFO sightings are likely the result of foreign spying, airborne trash, or simply optical illusions. Government officials have said. U.S. officials have solved many recent UFO mysteries, the New York Times reports. And we were just talking about the New York Times, right? Hillbilly Tarzan said, everybody have a great week. I got to run. Later, Chris. All right, Hillbilly Tarzan, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support. You have yourself a good week coming up there, right? Ricardo, there you go. Tic Tacs. Nice, minty little sugar-free sweets. Pretty much. Jerry Bailey, what's going on? You said Red Step Stacker put out an interview of a man who worked for the military with aliens. I've heard more than one story like that. There you go, Oliver. FSMs, Flying Spaghetti Monsters. Renee Cruz, what's happening? You said, seen a metallic extraterrestrial alien UFO in San Francisco back in 1978 when I was 12 years old. Mind-boggling, I was flabbergasted. Well, yeah, if you see something like that back in the day, I mean, because it wasn't as abundant as you see now, right? Most recent unidentified aerial phenomenon have been explained as to trash in the sky or foreign. How do you have trash in the sky? I'm so confused. I get it. You get a whirlwind and building throws up in the air, but it has to come down at some point, right? And some people just happen to look up. There's trash. There it is. It's a UFO. In the sky or foreign surveillance activities such as Chinese drones. Oh, okay. But the Pentagon keeps most of its conclusions on foreign surveillance secret so as to not reveal to China that it is aware of their spying activities. But yet we'll put it online and they'll never read any of this. Some old incidents remain officially unexplained simply because there is not enough data to make a final conclusion. During public hearings in May, the Navy revealed 400 unidentified aerial phenomena reports in recent years. Intelligence report last year revealed the U.S. Government had encountered more than 140 unidentified aerial phenomena since 2004 and could not explain them. Again, it's almost like they're trying to feel out the public. What do they think? You know, if we keep mentioning, they're going to get desensitized to the fact that there might be other people out there. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. The super fast Tic Tacs are manned, Daniel asked? I can't imagine that they are. I can't imagine that they're manned. Not in that kind of inertia, right? Like if you take the Tic Tac and just... There's no way you'd be plastered up against a wall like a... yeah, like a protoplasm pizza. I mean, there's no way around it. It just doesn't make sense. Sean, your question was, why would they suddenly stop believing what the Pentagon says, really? Well, it's almost like they just know at some point this is really going to get blown out, meaning people are going to start reporting it more and more, and they're really going to start to either, who knows if it's not a way to, and I was just thinking of this too at the same time, who knows if it isn't their way of saying, oh, by the way, other country that made these Tic Tacs or whatever, we're going to catch up to you, we're going to find out who you are, but they're just putting it in a more generalization, like, hey, we don't know where these things are from, but we really want to find out. And it's like they're trying to get the public's, you know, idea what's going on. Like, you know, are they going to be like totally scared? Are they just okay with it? Don't give a damn? You know, I don't know. I just find it hard to believe that just now looking to see what these things are. And clearly they know what, they may not know where they're from, but they know they're out there, right? Just common sense. I mean, obviously you're not going to know where the hell it's from. The other thing I was going to cover too is I put on there, and I was talking about basically disaster preparedness. Now, I don't know if any of you folks are, let me see something here. What do I do with this other paper here? Oh, I know some of you folks, I think you watch Suspicious Observers, and that's got Ben, I believe his first name is. He basically tracks like solar activity, tells you what's going on as far as, you know, how it's going to affect our magnetic fields, so on and so forth. Well, he's come out lately with a series of videos talking about how within 2030s, maybe 2040s, it's basically end game. And I'm not talking about, it's not that fear-mongering crap, right? I believe if there's any truth to this, that you should be, a pole shift is destroying the ozone. This is the title of this video, but he has many more in here. And basically what he's saying is there's going to be an event where we're actually already, the poles are literally shifting already. Okay, this is not like a 1 week thing. It's not going to happen overnight. But what he's saying is the steps that's going to happen to Earth is actually kind of scary when you stop and think about it, because basically pole shift is destroying the ozone. So therefore more sun, and it's saying it's opening up, I believe, on the North Pole. So now we're accelerating the ice melt to the point where there's not going to be any ice. It's going to raise the ocean levels, okay? And it's wrecking the magnetosphere, basically, of Earth. So, that's what I'm calling it anyway. But our protection from the sun is literally dropping off. So at some point what's going to happen is you're going to have all kinds of storms are going to get worse and worse through the years. And at some point you're going to have an EMP from a CME, coronal mass ejection, of course. But so basically it's like an EMP from the sun. It's going to knock out all the electricity, basically knocking you back into caveman time, so to speak. So I go, okay, I believe in just being prepared, not getting people nervous and stupid about all that. But if it's a coming thing, kind of like the movie The Day After Tomorrow, basically you start from scratch, in a sense. Now I believe the military, of course, would be totally protecting their stuff from any kind of EMPs or any kind of solar flares, for, like I said, from CMEs. But you break basically a magnetic field of the planet. If it literally diminishes, you're in a world of hurt. And if you have the ozone depleting as well, it's like twofold. It's literally going to let a lot of radiation in, and it's going to melt all the ice, raising the ocean. You're going to have tsunamis that are going to literally, Florida's gone. Anything on the coast, gone. And they said basically, if you got like a tsunami that's a mile high, it's going to wash in right up to, and believe it or not, he actually had in one of his videos, just showed my area, then it showed Tennessee, then it showed another state that would, because it's in the Rockies, it's the highest elevation, would most likely be okay. However, you're going to have an uptick in volcanoes, uptick in earthquakes, and then when it gets to the final time, what's going to happen is you're going to have, like I said, be back knocked into the dark ages. So how do you prepare for something like that? And again, he's saying 2030s, 2040s. You go, oh, I ain't worried about it then. You probably should. And I don't mean worry as more, I'd rather say prepare. Now, to me, I prepare for anything anyway. In other words, how about just normal snowstorms? Thunderstorm, knocks out the electricity. Someone, fortunate fool, hits a telephone pole, whacks it out. You know what I mean? Just simple things. I just believe in being prepared anyway. But have you guys, some of you folks probably watch him, have you guys seen this at all? No, South Africa, no, we're not doomed. However, if it is, it's supposed to be every 12,000 years that you have a pole shift. And they've already had papers, and they got peer-reviewed scientists have written papers about this, and we're already starting to pole shift. So it's not going to happen overnight. None of that crap. No need to go jumping off a bridge. Oh my God, we're all going to die. No, I don't mean all that. But I do mean it's something you should be prepared for anyway. And I mean like normal stuff. Like I said, power outages, you got a snowstorm, whatever it may be. However, if this is going to happen at some point, and obviously you're still alive to talk about it, then I think you should be prepared anyway, right? Now, if you watch this guy's channel, Suspicious Observers, you'll know what I'm talking about. He's very educated on it. It's not just somebody blowing smoke on people's rear ends. Yeah, Ricardo. As they say, you can your head between your legs and kiss you. Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, if it gets to that point, and they said people have lived through it anyway, but, what would you do to prepare for it? If the peak of it is in the 2030s, 2040s, and has to peak, And it's pretty much, we're going to use the term end game, because basically you're not, like I said, back into the dark ages. You've got no cars running, can't get food, water will be scarce, basically social breakdown. How do you prepare for that? He's even said it, he goes, I'm not putting in it because they got like a, I'm trying to remember how to, basically a Faraday cage, right, where it can protect your electronics. He goes, I'm not going to protect any of that. Because, I mean, here's the thing. It's like, let's say I wrap this into, like, tin foil or something like that, or a lead box where it's not going to be able to get to it. And now it blows over, and I wait a little bit before I pull the phone out. Who am I going to call? Ain't going to be Ghostbusters. Phones ain't going to be working. Who are you going to call? What are you going to do? What would you guys do if this really actually comes true? I'm just curious what you guys' take on that is. The Awoke one, he said, I have. NASA's satellites claim the North Pole is moving 25 kilometers eastward towards Russia, and the pole shift thing has been slowly happening for the last few years. Yes, it's been happening. That's a fact. Now, if this is true, peak being 2030s, stretch it to 2040. What the hell? If this happens, okay, as silly as it may sound, you may want to be prepared for that. So, what do? You know, most people go, I'm not worried about that. I mean, I got a generator and everything else. I'm good. Really? How much gas you got? Hope it's about 2 or 3 tankers worth. Because they said it's going to last like 2 or 3 months. Roughly. It's only a guesstimate, of course. What do? North Star Cyber Diary. What's going on? Thank you very much for your support, man. I do appreciate it. Your question is, what do you think those black cubes within transparent spheres, 15 to 30 foot wide things flying around are? The Navy claims they don't know what they are. Truthfully, I haven't heard about them. I don't know if anybody else has. I haven't heard about them. I have been hearing about other objects, but as far as the details you're giving, a black cube within transparent spheres, I'm not sure about that. Now, they have talked about, like we just read earlier, about like what looks like triangular craft or some crap like that. Again, if it's not crystal clear, I don't believe it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, at some point, somebody needs to be able to take a crystal clear picture, daytime. If these things are so abundantly flying all over the airspace, we should be able to see that. Am I right or am I wrong here, folks? Somebody's got to be able to take a crystal clear photo of it. Again, thank you for your support. I do appreciate that. Ali Khan, you said humans are scared of the truth. There you go, Flux Capacity. You said, I'll whip out the old points distributor. Yeah, but just remember the pickup in that distributor might get disrupted and won't work. Think about that a minute. A little pickup that's inside the distributor. Ricardo, yeah, I'm familiar. He said the movie by the name of The Core really illustrates very well the effects of the Earth's mag field being weakened and the effects of the sun. And it's true, absolutely. That's actually a good movie for that. And he's also talking about how the ground itself, like a lot of people say, well, I'll just go underground and everything else, but they're saying it's going to come out of the actual Earth's crust as well, or the core itself. So you have like a double whammy, like in between this, I don't know if it's like the response of the CMEs kind of thing, it's a response to it, like you're kind of like sandwiched in the middle of it. So, I don't know. Mark Matheny, what's happening? Good to see you. I didn't see you get in there. He said, get the EMP shield for your car and house. I don't know if I can do that, but it's up to him. I'm investing in zombies. You can do that. Well, the way he put it, too, is that the ozone starts to open up more and more and more. So basically, the sun will look white. You can put your arm out, and it'll literally burn your arm right then and there. Like you can have, like, on a real sunny day, you got a heat index of like 9, right? You can, it's hot. It's pretty hot, man. You can just feel that. Now, picture being a whiter sun with no filter. It literally will burn you. Valerian, the Max 3, I don't want to live through that. Take me now. No, I mean, there's other ways, but here's the thing. Let's suppose all of this comes true. And I don't think anybody should take it lightly. In fact, you guys should, I'll leave the link after the video, and I'll give you this guy's channel. He's not an idiot. This guy Ben is really smart. And I know some of you folks follow him. He's brilliant. He's actually, and he's good. He's got a series of these things saying when it's going to happen. Of course, he's going by peer-reviewed papers from scientists and everything else. And like I said, he's been studying this as far as the sun, its activity, the effects on Earth, so on and so forth. And they know that it's already started to, the poles have started to shift. Now, at some point, when that starts to, basically the Earth's crust is moving, this is going to be, it's going to cause a lot of havoc. And everybody goes, well, I don't have to worry about that until what, 2030s, middle, or 2040s? I'm good. But they're saying from this point on, they're going to get worse and worse. The storms are going to get worse and worse. It's not going to get better. So how do you prepare for it? Now, I've always said, like, I've got a mini solar set up in the window here where I've got a battery. It's not very big, but I can charge my phones up. I've got a 12-volt socket. I can do things with it like that. I can actually take it and take the wires off of that and put on a battery that has a built-in, like a battery backup. It'll charge that, and of course, you've got an inverter built into that. So I can do that too, right? So the very thing that could actually knock out, you know, put us back in the dark ages can also help you. Now, as long as it doesn't completely screw up the solar panels, which is a very good possibility, if it doesn't, and somehow you can keep your stuff shielded, you know, like your voltage regulator and, you know, so on and so forth, you can keep that, you know, okay, then you'll still have, the sun is what's going to keep you going. So in other words, you go, well, you know, if you got this, like this small solar setup I got here, I can charge little lights with it. I can charge, you know, my walkie-talkies if I need to talk, because there won't be no phone. I got 2 walkie-talkies. I can literally hit, well, it's kind of up and down terrain. It's not straight. And I can hit like 2.5 miles with it, and that's without repeaters or anything of that sort. I can literally go from radio to radio. Now, if it's flat area, I could probably get 4 miles out of it. That's pretty darn good. And they got and I've been up in the mountains too, while the other person was up on, you know, well, they were down on the ground at the base of the mountain. And of course, because you're higher, you can reach each other. But the second you go on the other side of the hill of the mountain, you know, it's almost impossible. But so you have to think of other alternatives. So, you know, again, I'm not one of these guys that are just like these fear-mongering things, but if it's true, Pete Ferreira, you said, Ben is excellent. Yes, he is. And he knows his shit. So if that's true, again, what would you do? Me personally, the very thing that can actually take us out, that's the thing that's going to help you in the future. Like I said, I got a buddy of mine, he goes, dude, I've got a generator. I'm not worried about it. Okay. Like I said, unless you got unlimited fuel, you're pretty much screwed. And I know a buddy of mine, he's got like natural gas that comes out of the ground. It's on the property he bought, and so he gets it for free. And you know, he's got a generator that can just basically run because he's got all the fuel he needs. I went, okay, at some point, you got to shut it down, change the oil, you know, do maintenance to it, fire it back up. And here's the other question: what happens at some point when total social breakdown? People start foraging for food because they've already raided all the grocery stores, pretty much raped them of any food. They're going to start coming looking for your house. Wait a minute, is that a generator you got running over there? Oh, fantastic. But him and his family all have guns. He's got AKs, ARs, and all kinds of other stuff. That's some illegal stuff. He's got all kinds of stuff. I said, well, that's great. That's fantastic until you run out of bullets. So unless you have like a 10,000-year supply of bullets, you're in a world of shit. So lay low. Solar panels. Even if you had to take them out later. Okay, it's happened. We're put in the dark. I get everything insulated so it doesn't get burnt up as far as the electronics in it. Put out the solar panels, start producing your own electricity. At least you've got lights, you've got a way to work around the house and stuff like that, right? Oh, you're not in complete darkness, so to speak. North Star Cyber Diary, thank you again for your support. I do appreciate that. You said there are FA-18 pilots that were illegally taking cell phone footage of these things, and that is the only reason we know since isn't classified. Well, that's true. I've heard about that too. I haven't seen any. Have you seen those though, as far as the actual photos from that? And were they daytime? because I haven't seen them. That's why I'm asking. Is that true? And were they brought forth? Like I said, because the only photos I've ever seen of any UFOs or UAPs had to be, like I said, a night vision or infrared. So, like I said, I don't believe, you just don't know how to take the government. One way you think they're just trying to test people, see how they're going to feel about that, or, you know, they know what's going on, they just want to know where it is from. You know what I mean? Daniel, better just die quick. Yikes. No, I mean, but it's like me, I'm actually going to upgrade my solar setup. In fact, I bought an inverter here. Funny enough, my cat's on it. Imagine that. But this one here is just, it's not really a super brand name. It's really not that like that. But I just bought this here. She's looking at me like, all right, don't kill me. But it's black. You can't see it. Let's see here. Man, I can't believe you can actually see that. That is weird as hell. But anyway, it's this big in my hand. There it is. It's part of it. Hold on. Ooh, it's actually invisible. But yeah, so this is a 4,000 watt inverter, 2,000 continuous. You'd probably be able to see the box a little better, but, and like I said, it's not, I don't know if that'll be any more. Wow, you can't even see that damn thing. Son of a bitch. But anyway, the box to it. But anyway, you can see the inverter. It's good size. I mean, it's, so I'm going to get a couple of solar panels and make another setup, which is going to be basically get some lithium batteries, just put it on there. And this is for just any time now. This is not just for, you know, oh, I'm worried about this coming doom or these situations. How about just having it, period? That's the way I look at it, right? But here's the thing I think of too. If this stuff is going to come true, and I can't imagine that these guys are going to be full of crap, at some point this will happen. They've been talking about a pole shift for how many years now? So it's finally begun. It's starting to happen. We're starting to get worse and worse storms. And so you probably should prep for it. And even if we go, let's say you're old enough to go, how about the 2030s? I'll be dead and gone anyway. Okay, fine. What about your kids, your grandkids, you know? Ryan Norton, what's happening? So what up, Mars fans and Chris? I'm back from the dead. Well, I appreciate you coming back, man. At least you're there. Adam Light says, I'm off. Take care, everyone. America has an underground electrical system. Come on. Well, some do and some don't. But like I said, the military's, like I said, they'll be all insulated to all that crap anyway. So there'll always be something running. Meaning, there'll always be some kind of structure to the company. Country. And company. Hate when you get that itch. But yeah, Adam, have yourself a good week coming up, all right? Valerian the Mac 3 says, imagine living like in the little house of the prairie when the big CME burst happens, no more electricity, and etc. James, 1977 Razorback says, what about the guy says he's from 2028 and everyone is gone? I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen other ones where they were far in the future and came back and talking about their experiences, what they expect and all that other stuff, but not sure about that one. Oh, you said he was in a coma or something. Oh, I don't know. MG Toy said a solar generator is only good as a backup to a real gas generator. Well, to a certain degree, like I said, first thing you would think of is regular gas generator. Makes sense, right? Because you can power, so much more. Now, this inverter I've got, like you said, you've seen it, it's about this freaking big, about this, got fans built into it in the back and on the bottom. 4,000 watt surge, 2,000 running. Other than your HVAC, I don't have anything that consumes that kind of power. So I can literally have a cutoff and go into my breaker box and I can run lights and everything else in here, other than the HVAC. So I can run the refrigerator, I can run all that junk, no problem whatsoever. but as long as you have enough battery capacity as well as solar. But you won't be completely in the dark as long as all that doesn't get burned up. But a generator is the same way. You can be running a generator if that's still, the CME is still around and still frying everything. Well, it's going to probably not. The generator probably won't even run. So that's where you got to be really careful, right? But I think at the end of the day, what's going to really survive if you're out of power for a long time? Think about that a minute. You only have, solar or wind. And again, you have to be careful that the things that are going to produce that power is not going to burn up. And if it doesn't, then you're okay. You know what I mean? But you could build these, they got these Pelican boxes where I was thinking about getting one of those where you can build into it. The other thing is like communications. People go, well, there ain't going to be no TV or anything because you're not going to have any of that. No, but you can have a scanner or some kind of shortwave radio that you can literally listen to if there is. I doubt the police will be around and that's when all holy hell is going to break loose. But shortwave, you'll be able to hear other countries that maybe have isolated their electronics and everything else where it's not going to take a hit and you can still figure out what's going on. Like you can have, I've got a couple pictures here open. Let me see what we got here. Like National Weather Service will have like different things you can get before an extreme solar event, before a solar event, during a solar event, and then after a solar event. It tells you what you can get and things to have. Although I don't see one thing that's got a radio in here. I think one is right here in the back. I think that's what that is. Like you can get a wind-up radio or any of that sort. Let me see here. That's before, during, basically hide. Aurora Borealis from space. Power lines can be affected by solar eruptions. Well, basically, yeah. So, watches and warnings. It pretty much tells you, what to look out for. You got your G1 through 5, geomagnetic storms, solar radiation storms, radio blackouts, so on and so forth. But to me, you should have at least a shortwave radio and a scanner because at some point you're going to hear like emergency broadcasts. Like you can get, how about these? This is funny. Now this one here, now this one's not funny, but this is the one I've got, and I've told you guys about this a while back. I've got that very same radio, and I'll tell you what, you can put a TF card in there, which is basically a mini card, and I've got like 350 songs in it. Just imagine not having any radio, no nothing, and everything's completely out. However, what I love about this little thing is that it's rechargeable, okay? So through my little solar setup, I can charge this radio up, never have to buy a battery, provided this thing's over the CME, because that'll burn up too, of course. It's over, it needs, the planet needs to recoup, its magnetic fields come back, it starts protecting us, and he's saying 2 to 3 months, okay, you need to have food, you need to be able to know what's going on as far as emergency or anything of that sort. And like I said, you can listen to music that you have, and I got like 350 songs on this little card and put into this. So I can pretty much, listen to shortwave, regular broadcast, if they're even broadcasting, and I can listen to music. And I can recharge the thing if I want to. And this thing lasts for quite a while. Yeah, sure, and yeah, absolutely. Because that's the first thing you should actually do, right? You should have, and it's shown right here anyway. But obviously water, food, things that you don't have to cook, because if you don't have any way to cook your food, obviously you should have a manual, can opener. If you do have, because like I said, even if you have a stove, like one of those Coleman cookout stoves, you're out in the campground, you're cooking, at some point you're gonna run out of the gas for that. So you need to have something you could just eat right out of the package. I know some people say, oh no, I'll just get those little, cans of food and just eat it right out of the can. I guess you could do that. So I mean, anything you can eat that requires no cooking or anything like that, and it has a good shelf life, and you're good. And you probably have to hide it. So, yeah, you can use rainwater, but I don't know how the sun's going to affect that, the radiation, everything else. I don't know. North Star Cyber Diary says, I have a family member that is a pilot for federal law enforcement, and he has said they have become more open about the UAP things and have a route to report sightings now. Yeah, exactly. Which I think is awesome that they're doing that because, back in the day, you ask them. It was totally taboo to even talk about that. They thought you were a fruitcake, and you had a chance of losing your job. They tell you, shh, you know, don't say another word about it because you could lose your job, or they'll think you're weird, or whatever the hell the case is. Just don't talk about it. That's basically what they come out with, you know. Larry in the Mac 3. New world record. China's artificial sun project has sustained a nuclear fusion reaction for more than 17 minutes. A lot more. So that's what happens. It's not an actual sun. Dan, you said I live in Holland and overpopulated. So where can I hide? The sewer? Believe it or not, it's not silly. Basically, you'd have to do that if you had that kind of event. And he tells you right out what to look out for. And I've said this before. Look at your basically, well, it could be anything. It could be like your XM satellite radio. Suddenly it's not working. Well, wait a minute, my GPS, it's not working anymore. It doesn't say, it's not showing accurately where it's at, because these things will tap into, depending on your area, it could tap into 3 to like 15 satellites, but suddenly they're all down, it doesn't know where you're at. There's your sign. Maybe something, you know, I mean, we really get hit by it, nobody knows about it, and your watch stops working, it just quits. Or you start to see cars just die. Who knows? These are pure signs, man. Grab your shit and run. You know, and just hope for the hell, hope the hell that your car still runs, you can still get home. Martin Leach, he said, Chris, have you ever watched The Fifth Kind, host Paul Wallace alongside Matthew LaCroix? They talk about the pole shift in great detail and truly believe that the military have been in Antarctica for decades. Oh yeah, I mean, as far as I know about the military being there, and as far as the, I'm not sure about the other. I can't say that I have seen that though. Maybe it's something I got to look into. North Star Cyber Diary said they even put out a notice to all airmen to look out for these things because a guy almost hit one. Yeah, the crazy thing about it is it's like you would think that, like I said, an UAP would have an avoidance system to not hit one of our, you know, regular airliners or military jets or anything that's in the air. You know, it could be an air balloon. Who gives a shit, right? But you'd think they'd be able to look out for something like that too. But I think that's the only thing that, as far as wanting to be safe, I can see that. But as a threat, do they see him as a threat, do you think? Let me see, North Star, do you believe that do they talk about them being a threat other than, you know, maybe colliding with them? Other than that, I don't know. Equalizer says, be great. No tech, candles, cabins, hunting. Oh, yeah. Well, see, here's the thing, too. That's what's weird. They were talking about basically anything that's outside can literally die from this because of the radiation and everything else. Now, obviously, the EMP is not going to affect something living. But as far as the, you know, well, if the sun gets strong enough, of course, right? And it literally, like I said, you could put your arm out there and literally burn your skin. Just right then, just put it out and it just burns it. So as long as you're hiding in the woods, I guess it's not bad. But see, I don't know how that would work. I've never been in there, in that kind of situation. But I think people need to be prepared. Here's another thing people don't think about. Remember them little cube radios? It used to be a weather radio. I think I got it right here. Where's it at? Right there. Okay. So these are the realistic weather radios. Now, back in the day, and I've done this to, remember them? The old school guys will remember what I'm talking about. The Sparkomatic car stereos. One of them I had, you could push a button, it would say weather. Okay. Take the radio apart, readjust the crystal in it, because I had a variable crystal, readjust it, and I could get the local police on it. This could be done the same way. I've done it to one of these too. So basically it has your 4 or 5 weather channels, but you can adjust the crystal on it to actually go to like a police station, or if you want to leave it just a weather, because people go, why the hell would I give a shit about the weather? Well, that's going to be the emergency broadcast. You're going to hear it over the weather, over NOAA. You're going to hear it over that. So you should have that, or shortwave radio, or a scanner and a shortwave radio. And that's pretty much it. Have it in a bug out bag. Have something you can have ready. But these things, believe it or not, for information, might make all the difference in the world. I was looking at this here too, the hand crank generator. So if you don't have any solar, you don't have any generator itself because it won't run, a hand crank one will work just fine. Just crank it up, get 12 volts out of it, and some of them, this one here has actually got an outlet on it. Right here, I believe it's 220 though, which is really kind of weird, but you can always get a step-down transformer and get 120 out of it, right? I had a smaller version of this one here. It was pretty cool. Sean, you said, I'm not sure about the safety of an underground bunker in a pole shift scenario. Yeah, well, they claim, like I said, it's also got, you know, as far as the radiation, you could probably hide from it underground. Because, again, soil is a good insulator, right? So you'd probably be safe as far as that goes. They claim that. But keep in mind, it's going to be upticking, you know, earthquakes. They're saying that the ground will literally lift and drop and everything else. Kind of like I said, Independence Day and all of these other places. Now, to me, that's a movie, and I don't think it'd be that dramatic. I don't believe that's going to be the case. However, just upticking weather, just that alone. Forget about anything else. You know, you get the hurricane that just went through Florida. You know, you look at it. I mean, Jesus, what the hell? That was pretty strong, and it wasn't the strongest. It was actually, I think it just topped out at a, I think it was a 4. I think it went to a 4, and then it just went right back down to a 3, category 3. So, but the thing is, you start getting these things that at 5s, maybe even larger. You're talking about tearing whole cities right off the goddamn city blocks. It's just crazy, right? North Star Cyber Diary said he has no idea what they are, and he has never seen one, but from my own looking stuff up and watching videos and interviews, I know they are real. I don't know what they are though. You know, I mean, it's hard to tell what these things are, right? I mean, you could just speculate and say, well, I know it flies at a high rate of speed. We can see the shape of it, but is it ours? Is it from otherworldly? What are they here for? So on and so forth. I don't know. It seems to me it's almost like I said, it's in other countries, and they just go, we're just not going to tell you who it is. We can just pop in and out of your country anytime we want to, and you'll like it. That's basically what it comes down to. Renee Cruz, you said, what's up with these 2 CCTV door cams of that illuminated transparent extraterrestrial alien UFO craft in that one state? Obviously, they're having a UFO flap there. I don't know. I think I know Tyler had one on too. Remember the one that just showed like, it literally almost looked like, it wasn't triangular, but it was kind of like it come out of there and just kind of travel, and it looked realistic. Now, whether that was real or not, I don't know. But I think that was taken by camera as well. Well, obviously it was taken by camera, but I mean, as far as like, I don't know if it was like a security camera. I'm not sure. So they came in, yeah, just tune into your YouTube for prepping. Yeah, we can do that. Your Woke One says, another problem with prepping for climate change is we need massive storage and transport units to carry our supplies around, and other survivors would kill to get their hand on those resources. Well, it's funny because somebody had said, I'll just put a points distributor in my car. Well, that's all well and good until the other people discover you got one. You're a dead man. You know, like I said, it's kind of like the new War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise in it. Remember that they had that van? And they literally were all like jumping them and everything. Get out of the car! And they had a gun point, and you know, they stole their van, and then somebody stole it off of them. And because here's the thing. Let's assume this is happening right now. Power's out. Of course, we wouldn't be watching this. But as far as you being home, you got your own vehicle. You can start up and everything. Most people won't be able to do that. My cars won't. If it hits them and they're not, you know, and it really hits it in a way where they just will not start. They literally singe the electronics in it. Okay. But you're safe, you're good. Well, there's a mental case down the street from you. I got to see my family. They live in the next state over. By God, I know who has a car. They go up in there, they shoot you, take your car. Well, that's going to happen to him, that's going to happen to him, that's going to happen to that person, because they know they can get around, but how do you fuel it up after? Gas stations are down. People will be stealing it out of the ground. Think about it. You can use a manual pump and just pump the fuel right out of the ground, and you'll be able to do that, but not many cars will be running. And it's going to be like total meltdown. Terry Kelly, thanks for the most depressing hangout tonight, Chris. Well, and it's not meant to be like that. It's most of it just preparedness, and that goes for any storm. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't believe in all this fear mongering, but it's good to be, prepared if you can. Like I said, I tell people just prepare like you would for a regular storm that knocks out your power for a week. The only difference is if you want to do longer, you just prep it for longer. That's all. So as far as that, I'm not trying to build it that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get everybody, oh my God, again, going out of their mind. Just to be prepared, be aware, that's all. Sean, you said 220 is a UK voltage, yes, but you can also get a step-down transformer for that. So it'll go from 220 down to 120. Flux Capacitor, LOL, 80s Radio Tech, I miss Radio Shack. Best pals, mom and pop own one. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like, as silly as that thing looks, oh, this one's good, but this here, believe it or not, like I said, just that alone, you have it in the house, maybe you got a more modern weather radio. Put it on when you need it. Like I said, you can always put it in a big box and just have it either covered with a foil or whatever, try to stop them, minimize the chance of that singeing any electronics. And I think that the electronics would have to be on in order to do that. I could be wrong, because you got to remember it might affect capacitors and all of the sensitive components in whatever you've got. But just that alone, you're going to find that's going to be your emergency. It's not just for weather. Oh, holy hell breaks out. You're going to have to depend on NOAA or these other emergency, officials or whatever. Yeah, and you said, I think I'll take the red pill now, man. That's a great observation, Ricardo. He said, with the sheer volume of illegal migrants, flooding across the U.S.-Mexico border, and also the influx into the UK, do these people know something about the future we don't? Well, it's funny. It's a great question. Here's the other thing. Maybe that's why there's a big push to go to Mars before 2030 or 2035. Think about that a minute. But then where's Mars in relation to Earth? Isn't it not closer to the sun? Of course. However, do they know something we don't know? Did they have underground cities? And I don't mean like something like from sci-fi, but is it possible they had structures underground and that was the norm, or some of the norm, they built above and below? But that's something like we got here. We have these DUMBs, these deep underground, bases and stuff, military bases. We've got highways that go from west coast to east coast. The country will never stop running. It'll always work somehow, trust me. Now, as far as the end user, meaning you and I, how would you get groceries? How would you get gas? How would you get the normal stuff you just take for granted every day? You won't get it. It's as simple as that. So it's up to you. Like I said, it's like prepping for a normal hurricane season if you live down south, or a winter storm, because it's got this saying even, and this has got nothing to do with this guy here, Ben, but as far as they're forecasting, at least for my area, wetter and colder winter. So so I'm going, so I'm always prepped. I always got something ready if the power goes out. I have a generator, and I can run it for days, refrigerator, lights, and whatever I got to run. I'm okay with that. I've got food in the house. I never worry about that. I've got my solar. It still runs even though it's stormy out. It's like it's still light outside, or just charge slower. So there's always something you can have as a backup. Now, if you were to say, okay, but what about something as big as that, like all of these solar storms? Okay, you just go on a grander scale and just make sure that you're protected, or just just ready for it. That's all. It's not about the doom and gloom. It has nothing to do with that. Now, it may be something that is not going to be like all the puzzle pieces may not be there. Like the ozone may not be as depleted as bad. Therefore, we don't have to worry about major flooding. So on and so forth. Maybe we'll be more protected before we get these CMEs. As far as the electric company beefing up their lines and everything else. And because you got to remember, it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year. This is going to happen years ahead. So they might have a plan for this, and there you go. Martin Leach, you said, I'm optimistic and I believe solution has been ongoing for years, and we have known about this catastrophe as did the ancients who built megalithic structures as the new, what was coming, see Puma? Flux Capacity said, most preppers that are of somewhat sound mind preach just that preparedness. And that's all it is. I mean, like I said, it wasn't meant to be, like I said, I don't believe in this doom and gloom. Oh my God, well, the sky's falling. And I don't believe in all that shit. But I do believe in, here's a perfect example. My house is all electric. Power goes out. What do? Can't cook. So what do? You don't want to freeze to death in the wintertime or a storm. You don't want to be in the complete darkness. You use an alternative to that. So I have, a 30,000 BTU, propane heater. If I need it, I'm good to go. Don't worry about it. You don't need electricity. Like I said, I've got solar. I've got the generator. I've got a backup plan. I'm not in the dark all the time. I have something I've got battery backups on just about everything in my freaking house. My refrigerator, my deep freezer, my lights, and my internet. Now, at some point, they'll drop off. But I know, I can see how much time I got left on the screen. It tells me how much time I got on these battery backups. Okay, looks like the power's not coming back on. And maybe I just got the news that says power won't be on for, I don't know, 3 days. Okay, no problem. Just get out the generator, fill it up, let's go. And you're prepared. You're not in the dark. You're not like completely helpless like most people are. And they don't think of this stuff. There's a buddy of mine, his mom's got to be on oxygen, 24/7. And he said, what do I do? Get yourself a generator, make sure they're good. And of course you have the manual tanks, the regular tanks, not the one that creates oxygen and needs electricity to do that. So think ahead of it, that's all. So the hammer, I'm building a time machine. Yeah, go in the future first and see what it looks like, then go back and, I don't know, maybe we can figure something out. The Awoga one says, instead of prepping, governments and scientists need to step their game and tackle climate change before it is too late. Personally, I'd rather survive a zombie apocalypse. Well, this is true too. MG Toe, I'm an extra class ham. For the same price, you can get a Bofang ham radio. That's true, absolutely. And now I've got an older radio. I've got the, hold on a minute. I got another one too. Where the hell did that one go? Anyway, I've got one on here under the bench. It's a Yaesu FT7100. So basically, dual band, nothing special, but it's opened up, for business band. So I can be on that instead of, being on 2 meter 440. But I've got the business band as well. So if I needed to fire that thing up, because like I said, I'm probably going to make a case to just have everything, all the radio equipment in it, with a battery you can charge up, and make sure it's insulated, and then I can just fire it up when I need it. Screw in the antenna outside the box, and you're good to go. You're informed, you know what's going on. And then, of course, prep for, have your proper amount of food, depending on the size of your family, and, make sure that's all. It's like anything else. Look at these people that were in Florida got wiped out. It's hard to prepare for a house that's not going to be there after the storm's done, but if you have something you can fall back on, maybe the house is fine, and the power just got, the power's not going to be on for like 2 weeks. Okay, at least you got a plan somehow. You know what I mean? White Bear Sky Daddy, I need to get an old points distributed system truck out and go over everything real good. I have a fuel stash and lots of dry goods put back. Not a prepper, just seems to be the thing to do anyhow. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, people take it as like when you say, thanks for the most, saddest, well, whatever you said, Hangout. It's not about that. It's just being prepared. That's all. And I don't know about you folks, but as far as the weather forecasted for this winter, they're saying, it's like I said, it's going to be wetter in my area, like the middle of the country almost, and, well, my area towards the East Coast, where it's going to be colder and wetter. So maybe more storm, maybe more ice, meaning more snow, more ice. I don't know. But you get more ice, more chance of power outages. That doesn't mean it's doom and gloom. It just means I'm going to be prepared for it. That's all. Nothing really that bad. Sean, you said at least we have guns to shoot game over there. We'll have to be a little bit more creative in the UK and learn trapping. Well, here's the thing too. It's funny you mentioned about the guns. Now, like I said earlier, Like, let's say you go, oh, I don't care, you know, I'll protect what's mine. I got my guns. Again, at some point you run out of bullets, unless you plan on clubbing people over the head with your gun. How about this? Tasers. People, well, how are you going to do that? You can't plug it in the wall. But if you have a solar power, you got an inverter, you plug it in, you keep it charged at all times. You need it? It's on your person. I've got 2 of them that sit right on my belt. Now, of course, you have to get up to your opponent and actually zap his ass, but that's not the point. If you run out of power, and of course they have the ones that are like a small baton kind of thing, where it's actually you know, a taser as well, so you can actually reach, and you know, as opposed to trying to walk up to them. But either way, there's always a solution to something. You just have to figure out what it is. I think, like I said, the very same thing that could actually, you know, knock everything out, as long as it's what you have is safe, meaning I can still charge everything, meaning I can still use my solar array as far as the sun, my inverter, everything's still working, I'm good to go. I can plug anything that's electrical or rechargeable, I'm good to go. I don't have to go out and buy batteries. I don't have to do any of that crap. And excuse me, and I'm not out in the dark, you know. Ricardo, he said, no solution is achieved in isolation. We must pick up our game, but also maintain traditional fuel, fossil fuel backups. That's true. Any way you can. Renee Cruz says, flying metallic cube on Quest TV. Look deep inside the metal alloy exterior. It shows the reflection of the cosmos, galaxies and universes inside it. It's a Stargate vortex wormhole portal. Nice. Jonathan Napier, he said, if you look at the Ice Age timescale from the first through to the present time, from the last ice age to present day, we are way outside the time frame. We believe, or I believe, we are witnessing the start. Oh yeah, we definitely are. Flux capacity, talking about the time machine. There you go. Celtic Hammer, how do we prepare rather for nuclear radiation? It's a good question. If you mean if we're going to get bombed, meaning like a World War III kind of scenario, let's hope you're out of that area. If not, there's really not much you can do about it. Now, as far as I'm not sure if that would happen. If you were to go into, I'm trying to think of the word for it here. Basically, here's a good example. They were saying at some point, and he was saying that there's a possibility that you could literally, because remember they were talking about how they had the mammoths, the woolly mammoths, how the food was still frozen in its mouth and in its stomach. It wasn't even digested yet. He said that would have taken cold air from the actual space itself to come onto the Earth. Now, if you were to have some kind of, if it was an event where, it would actually be overheating because you would have the sun and everything else. But if it got to the point where you had like this nuclear winter type thing, that would be crazy too. Because we're talking about a little bit different here. But it's just extremes. That's basically what it comes down to. But if you're anywhere next to an actual nuclear explosion within 100 miles, yeah, it depends on, of course, it depends on the bomb itself, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, that's not good. Ricardo said the magnetic change is known as a magnetic excursion, which is true, event, and the poles will move, then move back. Well, they're talking about the whole thing just moving and just, that's the new Earth, which would be kind of weird. Who knows? Maybe it will be more like the Bahamas after it's all said and done, if you're alive to talk about it, at least in my area. that JC? How do you pronounce your first name? Anyway, he said 5 years in the pokey for a taser in the UK. Really? Yeah, I know this. They're like no way with the guns and all that other stuff in the UK. I'm going, I get that. And there's a lot of people who, it's not, well, I guess there's crime there, of course. But I mean, as far as like real bad crime, like, you know, I think even some of the places the police don't even have handguns, do they? But, hey, listen, you got to protect yourself some way, right? That's the way I look at it. Martin Leach said, Chris, great hangout as always. Sorry. Peace be with you and all. Look forward to the next show, Grand Prix, about to start. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, Martin, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate your support and your questions. You have yourself a good week coming up there, right? North Star Cyber Diary, thank you again for your support. This itch is killing me. The problem with getting your ham license is that they list your address and name online. I have a psycho ex-girlfriend, and that would be terrible for me. Yikes. Well, if she knows you got your license, I guess it would be a problem. The Awoga one says, prepping for climate change will rely on how much weight you can physically carry, as it's all be about surviving on bare essentials. That's true. If you're lucky to be able to hunker down in your house and just stay there, you're good. But they're saying things like, if you're in the city, oh my God. Like I said, pure pandemonium. Think about it. You know, like I said, I remember back and I'm sure this happened in the UK or anywhere else you folks are at. When we had one of these hurricanes that came through, up in New Jersey, they ran out of water. People were fist fighting in the aisles for like a pack of 24 pack of water. So people are losing their minds. Now picture this being a month, 2 months, 3 months. Bad situation. Oh yeah, this was, you're talking about suspicious observers. I'll leave the link after the video, but you can check it out now, James. He said, what was that guy's name, Chris, or name of his channel, talking about the polar shifts? This is, like I said, suspicious observers. Let me see here. I'll do one better here. Okay. Okay. Trying to figure out where his is at. Like he's got one here, a day ago, it says, how will we know it's time, was the question. And he's talking about how your GPS and everything will take a dump and all that. But he started this, I think it was a month ago. Actually goes back, well, it's about a month ago he started with all this. But, and he's not just one guy. He's like many, there's a big group of them that actually do this. Like I'll give you this one here. This one is And then, of course, you can just go to his channel and just see all the other videos. But this one is the pole shift is destroying the ozone. I'll put it right here. I'll drop the link right here. There you go. Okay, put that back. There you go. So if anybody wants to check that channel out, and that's the one I just told you about, again, the pole shift is destroying the ozone. This one's actually pretty cool.
Good evening, folks. The topic is the ongoing geomagnetic excursion.
So, I don't want to play because it would be copyrighted, but yeah, there you go, Ricardo. Back to horsepower, people. I mean, there's many alternatives if you don't want to be left completely in the dark, but to me, it's like something you got to get used to if this does actually come to fruition. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you don't just go, I'll take it lightly. It'll never happen to us. I never say never because you just don't know. But it's good to be, like I said, just good to be prepared. That's all. The Ovoga one says, I honestly believe climate change will, for a time, see people turn into cannibals in order to survive, to make up for the massive food shortages and trying to survive. That will be extremely challenging. Sounds like, I've got 2 donkeys, God's taxis. Well, if they don't die from whatever's going to happen too. Pete Ferreira says, suspicious observers will attack fake science. Well, here's the thing too. Like I said, this guy is just not one guy. He's like a group of people. And like this one here was, what, October 25th? This is like 5 days ago. And he had 70,000 views on this. But a lot of people, and he's not saying, oh my God, everybody wrong, the sky's falling. He's just saying the facts. And he said, this is peer-reviewed. This is not something he's just pulling out his rear end. He just lets you know what's going on, and this is what their findings, and there you go. Take it the way you want to. You can piss on it, or you can actually take it to heart and or listen to it a little bit, and that's pretty much it. Exactly, Ricardo. Good scout motto. Be prepared. Holds true to every aspect of life. Yep. Russell Romig, weightlifters buy actual breast milk. I'm all for working out, just not to that extreme. Oh, yeah, I guess. Ian Spence, it's a great question. He said, if all outside life dies, what are the hunters going to hunt? Well, this is what I'm talking about. You got to picture yourself, let's say you can't hunt, can't drive, can't go out and get the food you want. You'll be basically put in the dark ages again. So how would you prepare? You can't use, to a certain degree, you can use something that has gas powered. In other words, you can use a generator if it doesn't burn up. So you use a gas generator, you're good to go. You go, okay. But again, the gas will run out. You can't get any gas. Now, people will be stealing it out of the pumps or these tanks, underground tanks. They'll figure a way, trust me. You know, but at some point that will dry up. And if it lingers, the problem issues, and nobody can get back to normalcy, meaning power doesn't come back on. Maybe it blew up the, you know, you go to a simple store, the cash registers don't work. You can't use money. The banks are not working. You know, so how do you go about protecting yourself? Think about what you can do inside your own home. Well, first I can save water, save food. Again, something that you can easily, you know, open a can, a package and eat. I don't care if it's silly Pop-Tarts or, you know, something along them lines. Eating that garbage is better than eating nothing, I guess. But as long as you got this for a while, you're good to go. Now, nobody says, you know, if you go, well, I only have so much, it's only going to last so long. True, but at least, you know, you're going to learn to ration it too. So you got that, you know, just protect yourself, be prepared. That's all. Like I said, it could be a storm and knocks your power out for 2 weeks. That alone, I mean, it makes you feel like you're helpless, let alone 3 months. Russell, yeah, he said, age of bicycles, COVID deaths would plunge because everyone would be in shape. It's a give and take according to Fauci. He's another story in itself. Well, I think it's being induced by that, Ricardo. He said to cause an actual crustal shift requires more than just a magnetic field shift. Well, I think it's because it's actually tilting. They're saying that it's affecting the actual magnetic field. But I'm sure there's other reasons. You know what I'm saying? That can cause it all, and like it works. I don't know if I'd say it works together because it sounds like it's a positive thing, but works against. Or there's other ingredients, so to speak, that's going to make it all happen. I don't know. But the way I look at it is even if you get more and more severe storms and nothing more out of this, that alone should make you prepare. Power outages, floods, so on and so forth. I'm sure people on these islands would kill for a generator at the time. But again, you'd have to have something that's, has to have gas. And chances are you're not going to find any gas on an island. Again, solar would be the way to go. Even if it's a cloudy day, you're still producing electricity. And it depends, of course, how many, solar panels you have. So the sun will always be there, within reason. You charge it during the day, use whatever you need at night, I'm not sure how you pronounce it again. McGurk, is it Jason? 3 months, let's all go to Chris's house. Man, I ain't get that much food. I don't even have the food. Here's the thing, I used to do that. I used to have you have like a whole pantry of stuff, and I don't mean like top to bottom, the walls are full of it, but, you have a certain amount, and just in case, here's the other thing too. Simple stuff. People have you have X amount in your pantry, you have extra food and everything else. I know people that don't have anything. They literally go and shop every day. I went, what is the point in that? What happens if your husband, your wife, somebody falls sick and can't work and suddenly you're tight on money? Well, we can't shop. Well, if you had food in your pantry and it had enough of it, you could just ride through it and not have to worry about it because you had enough, you had bought enough, you got enough in the house. So it's just being prepared, simple stuff can make a big difference. It's not about anything that's, oh my God, the sky's falling kind of shit. I'm talking about just normal everyday things can happen and you should be prepared. Oh yeah, Mark Matheny, yeah, you're right. So you can get the shield to protect your solar gens too, just saying. Ricardo, take me home. Oh, Klein, I'll sit on the biggest volcano ever, and if it blows up my ass, go up and your lights out. Oh yeah, that's a good way to go out quick. Flux capacity said nothing those on Mars haven't been through before. Maybe like the Morlocks in the 50s time. Mark Flick will go underground and become weird. Waiting, we're already weird. Wait, we're already weird. Mama, that's the place to survive. Cameron, what's going on? He said, how are you, Chris, on this Sunday? I'm doing pretty good, man. Just talking about this, that, and the other. Southern Cameron, he said, I predict the population of Antarctica will rise by millions. I actually believe there's a civilization there too, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. Now, I'm not sure if I'm down with the idea of like UFO bases under Antarctica. I'm not saying it's not a possibility, because I think at this point anything's possible, well, within reason. But I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Like Linda Moulton Howe, how she believes this, like she's talked to people who know there's bases underground and everything else. just, you say to yourself, just one time, does anybody have any proof? And like I said, anybody could talk a great story and put it together really well, so it just seems like, oh my God, they're telling the truth. He sounds reputable. That doesn't mean that they are. I could just give me a voice changer. Yeah, well, I was down there underneath there and I was worked on these structures. I mean, I could say anything I want and make it sound really elaborate, you know what I mean? And then it's like, wow, that's cool, man. That's neat. But, it just doesn't make sense. To me, it's, I don't know. It's like, just one time, just proof. Kind of like the UFO thing. Just show me one good picture. It doesn't have to be super crystal clear like it's sitting in front of the guy, although that would be cool. Something up in the air, daytime. See it clear as day. That'd be sweet. Can't get it. Renee V says, run to the hills. Run to the hills. Long Island, New York, thank you. You said, hey, Chris, I just sent over $10 through PayPal. I appreciate it. If you guys notice, too, there's a new feature I put on there. You can put through anybody who does uploading. If you look under any video, like this one here, the pole shifting is just right. You can see right here, actually has like a little tip button kind of thing, I guess it is. It says thanks. So you can hit it. And if you want to throw a tip for a cup of coffee or anything like that, you can do that. So, that's always greatly appreciated too. So if you see something, you go, that's cool. I'll send them $1 for coffee or whatever. That's always welcome too, But I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, when the hell did this thing pop up? I've never seen these before. So I thought that was pretty cool. Long Island, New York, he said, Linda Howe, she believes way too much stuff. She's too far gone. She used to be a great back in the day. Well, like I said, I mean, anybody could come up with a really good story and say, oh, by the way, we're going to tell this story, this, that, and the other. Because, like I said, all of these people like her, every year they come out with something new. They got to stay relevant. So they keep telling a story when they go live somewhere, and then they come up with another story to make it seem like they're relevant. And then another story, then another story. It's like, Jesus, show me something solid. Really, because then I'll start believing you. Other than that, it's like, come on. Ricardo, you said best place to go will be Central Eastern Africa to avoid the worst of the worst effects. Well, when you watch some of his videos, he talks about the flood waters, how they'll come in and then they'll recede. And there's one of the videos that show that. You have to see, he's got like, I don't know how many videos of this now, talking about different things and, preparedness, all this other stuff, but, and what signs to look out for. But they also show like a lot of Africa and South America and all these other countries down below the equatorial line, or pretty close, and most of it's below that, where you can see just the floods come right in. And as it's moving downward, because of the waters will rise, and then it's got to do with Antarctica, like you guys are just talking about Antarctica as well. All that ice is going to melt. North Pole, South Pole, all the oceans are going to go up. So anybody who's on the coast or like in Florida or any of that, underwater. The islands, your history. And you hate to say that, but it's like, if it's going to rise that much, a lot of these little islands like the Florida Keys, they're not that high. The elevation over water is really not that high. And I'm not just saying that, because here's the thing. My daughter lives in Florida. So, it's not a good place to be in the near future, even 20 years from now. It may be not a place to be. And even said, even where I'm at, they said, yeah, you get a lot better shot, but that doesn't mean that's where you're gonna be totally safe from everything that could possibly happen. Earthquakes, Paul's Brand, what's going on? He said, good evening, all. What's happening? MG Toe, yeah, I remember that before. He says, like Secure Team 10 having great interviews with himself with a voice change. Yeah, he got bagged on that one. The Olga one says, I don't know, but Antarctica would be a perfect hiding spot for aliens to hide out and not be found by humans. That said, I do believe that most lost civilizations waiting to be rediscovered down there. Well, there's a, I mean, think about it, how they're finding new and more new or older ancient civilization structures, pyramids, whatever the hell it may be. Like in these forests, these Amazon jungles and stuff like that, they're finding this stuff. It's just crazy, right? But through satellites, you can do that. You can penetrate the, the forest trees and, well, basically the topping of the trees. And ground penetrating radar, you can see all this, which is really, really cool. That reminds me when you just mentioned that. And Black Knight Satellite, anyone? Where did I see that? Oh, remember this one here? This one here was about the, oh God, what was that? The old thumb drive or thing that says, oh, mysteriously. Man discovered a strange memory stick containing 28 images of alien UFOs in space. And of course, this is what this shows. Looks like the Black Knight right here. On the top right one right here. This is over, I believe, is the moon. Although I could be wrong. I believe this is the moon right here. And supposedly these were on this stick. But this is what gets funny. Early 1900s. I'm like, I'm confused. 1900s, huh? So they had a memory stick that looks identical to what we have. In a little town close to Berlin, Germany, a guy by the name of Quisto just discovered something, this is an old story, by the way. This is real old. He claimed that he had barely begun his journey home when he noticed a strange USB sticks laying by the side of the road. It just happened to be laying by there. He picked it up and saw how ancient it was. Ooh, how do you determine how old that one is compared to what it is now? Ancient, and it was that it had a strange symbol that was inscribed on it. He walked nearby and saw the Steinter. I don't know what the hell that is, but you can see right here. Again, I'm not sure. I believe this is Earth because you can see the moon off there on the upper left. The USB stick was, to put it mildly, ancient, so he didn't expect it to operate. But when he plugged it in, it immediately started up and displayed a total of 28 images on it of space, planets from close up, and even UFOs. The images also show the mysterious Black Knight UFO. And you got something right here. It's over the moon. You can see something right there. He thinks that most of the pictures were taken by the Voyager spacecraft, and the stick is from the 1900s. Ricardo, that was yours? That's what happened to it, huh? He said, that was my memory stick. This one I find interesting here, this one right here. Looks like a spacecraft right here. Looks like something coming right out of the ground right here. And believe it or not, what's really weird is a lot of these close-ups of the moon have this very same texture, which is, really kind of a... wasn't very good photography compared to what we got now, right? But, you can see this right here. It's kind of weird, and it looks like a spacecraft right there. And a lot of moon, even a lot of the, oh God, what was it? I think it was Pluto pictures look like this. You can see right here in the right, in the area, the white area. Kind of look like that because the picture quality or the detail quality of these photos weren't really that great. But you can see something right here. It looks like some kind of structure, something right there. And it looks like a spacecraft here on the bottom of the screen. On September 5th, 1977, Voyager 1 and 2 were launched into orbit, respectively. You see something right here above that. On each picture, you can see something. I'm not sure what the hell that is. When questioned if he feels he has chosen to spread the word about the USB stick, he flatly rejected it. If he feels he was chosen, rather. Okay. M19, all right. He said, hey, Chris, I'm going to bed now. I uploaded the video with some structures I had sent you via email. You can see it listed on my YouTube channel. Keep on doing what you do. See you. All right, man. I'll definitely check it out. In fact, let's do this. Let me find this now, because I don't think you can leave a link there, so I'm going to try to find it and we'll drop it on there. I think you said you got a channel, obviously, because you just uploaded it. So let's do this. Let me see. I don't see it. I got an M9 Productions. Is that it? Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out too. I'm trying to figure out if that is. No, that's not it. Yeah, what is that? There's James. What's going on? James, good to see you in there. And thank you for your support as always. He said, oh, hi, Chris and everyone tonight. I missed this earlier on. Anyway, great to see you, Chris, and great people here tonight. P.S. Great vids recently, man. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, you Ricardo saying, James boy, what's going on? Good to have you in there. Glad to see you. You're all going, okay. He said, I think you're saying I got to go. As ever, this has been fun and informative. Keep up the amazing work, Chris. I will rewatch the stream tomorrow as we have a bank holiday. Man, must be nice. And stay safe, you all. All right, man. The Oracle One, you have yourself a good one as well. And appreciate you being on here and throwing some comments and supporting the channel, as always. Appreciate you. You have yourself a good week coming up there, right? Okay, let me see. Yeah, I wish I could find that other channel. On my channel, and I don't see. Let me see here. Oh, I got you. I got you. Oh, you're talking about the one I did. I think that's what you. It looks like the same. It's the same one I've done. Yeah, I'm on his channel now. Looks like the same one I did because I have. But anyway, here it is. I'll give you guys the link to his. Almost looked like the same one I made before. Short video, but cool is none the same. Right here. Again, this was M9.1 through 7, I guess it is. And he just uploaded this. It's like a 2-minute video. I just dropped the link. You guys can check it out. Pretty cool. I am working. He said some of those pics do have the look of the moon washed out. Like, yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. The same thing. It's kind of weird how it's like that, right? He claims that the stick was discovered by accident, and as he is unaware of the prior owner, he cannot assert that he was chosen by anyone or anything. Of course, the video is broken. Oh, surprise, surprise. So, but I've seen these. There's another one that was. This one I find interesting. This one's pretty cool. I like that. But the one I seen actually showed like right around Mars. There was actually a spacecraft right around Mars, and it was pretty cool. And it was so there's more than these because this is not 28 photos. But I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it is on YouTube. It says the ancient fire stick you know, Fire Stick, thumb drive or USB stick shows this. Oh, memory stick was Jules Verne's. Yeah, I probably took it to the center of Earth with him. Break out the Halloween special. See Randall has a special on the origins of Halloween. Eye-opening. Huh. All right, let me see. Again, James, thank you very much for your support. If anybody hasn't hit the thumbs up, please do so. What do we got, like 118? Is that what that is? 118. It is interesting though. M9, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm almost positive I did a video just like this, but that's pretty cool. It'd come out really good. Excellent. All right. Remind me, guys, I'm just checking it out. James, thank you very much again. That's awesome. Chris, it's the Guinness Jazz Musical Festival in my hometown, Cork City, Ireland, this weekend, and it's mad. Have a drink on me, Chris. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, throw a couple back for me as well. Just don't get, you know, a little too tipsy. That happens, you know. Especially when you have a good old time. With the Irish through and through. Yeah, Flux Capacity, I just did the same thing. It was actually pretty good. It seemed like it's one similar to the one I've done, but that, to me that looks like all roads, doesn't it? It looks like structures and roads. Long Island, New York, he said the Pentagon is taking control of the UFO narrative and going against what Lou Elizondo and Tom DeLonge have been promising. Now, Pentagon says all UFOs are spycraft. Yeah, and I don't believe that for a moment, because they're not going to allow themselves to be seen. It doesn't make much sense, does it? At least, you know, they're not going to intentionally make sure they can get seen. It just doesn't make any sense. Excuse me. Russell, you said those shadows in those pictures are too well defined compared to the picture grain. It throws it off. Yeah, somewhat. Like the one right here isn't too bad. It kind of matches the graininess or non-quality or non-detailed. And this one's kind of the same though. All right, Celtic Hammy, you have a good one. Thanks for being in. And thanks for your comments and everything. I appreciate that. Good to have you in there. Join us more often. Ricardo, you're talking to James. You said, I'm in Derry next week for a fleeting visit before going to... Oh, okay. I'm thinking... I'm trying to remember if you live in the States. I think you do. First thing I thought it was Derry, New Hampshire. James, Cragen, you said, Chris, there is a book on the Stuff recently called Spy in the Sky, and there's some fantastic pictures of structures and mechanical devices of crashed on the moon and Mars. Huh. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, there's the same one here. I'm looking at one. Is Joyce Mary A? Is that what that is? I am Merkin. Thank you very much for your support as well, man. He said, send the same amount to NASA towards some new cameras. Enjoy a coffee. I mean, there you go. Everybody pitch together. Get these poor guys some cameras, will you? Yeah. If we could only see the real deal, probably be shocked. Patrick Owen, what's going on? Hi, Chris. Hi, friends in the chat. Long time no see. Agreed. Figured I'd pop it in and have a chat in here, and, you know, it's awesome. Good to see you in there. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. You, James, you said, Chris, I meant bookshelf. Yeah. Pat Owen is in the house. That would be interesting if these were, in fact, real, though, right? Because, yeah. Like I said, this quality of this ground on this, I don't know if it's the moon or where this is at, but that's like the same quality you always see on these, most of these photos, at least the older photos, right? Too bad this photo and this video is gone. Like I said, I'm almost positive there's a video out there with that anyway. Yeah, I still love how the Pentagon. Oh yeah, it has solved a number of these famous UFO sightings. Well, if you've solved them, why don't you let them out to the public? I'm sure there's not just 3 of them, right? Send them out. Let's see what they look like. Good hot. Yeah, we were talking about this was actually a man discovers this thumb drive or USB stick, and these 28 photos were on there. He says he doesn't. It's memory stick containing 28 images of alien UFOs in space, and he claims he doesn't know where it came from. It just happened to be laying on the side of the road. But I was saying this one here was probably my favorite. The way that thing is. It does look kind of cool, and if that's real, then that's pretty neat. If it's real. Let me see. And don't forget, folks, to check this channel out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I've been following him for quite a while. I know some of you folks, like I said, are on, have subscribed to the Suspicious Observers. I've been following him for quite some time. And real good stuff. Got some other ones coming up too. Not gonna let you see, of course, because those are videos coming up. Long Island, you said, I don't trust the Pentagon, guarding this topic. I'd rather Chuck Schumer tell us about the UAP. Yeah, no doubt. James Cragen, you said, Chris, the vid on the Saturn rings was great. But do you remember the fantastic one you did a while back that seems to have structure along the ring? Yes. It looks like right on the edge of the rings. It looks like there's variable size structures like right on the edge or something there. which doesn't make sense because if these are all supposed to be relatively flat, right? Of course, they're not like a saucer, but they're pretty close. So the idea that these things are pretty tall, and when you really got into this photo, it looked like literally structures literally lined up on there. Larry Fisher, your question was, how do we know that what they released were real? The Pentagon government said that they were authentic. Yeah, well, the more they looked into it, all of a sudden, well, they could have been drones and whatever. It's like they keep backpedaling. One minute they're like, yeah, we're trying to figure out where these things are from, and they could be from space, we're not sure. Then they're like, well, they're just drones. So they couldn't tell that from the word go. They have to have instruments on these F-18s or, these warships and stuff like that that can literally determine what something is by looking at it. They have to. Because with the technology they got today, they can probably tell what the metal's made out of on some of these other, other countries' fighter crafts and stuff like that. Or they can tell, what weapons they're ready to use or whatever. I don't know. But they're going to be more high-tech than that. They must know the difference between a drone and an actual, alien UAP or UFO. I just find it hard to believe they don't know that. Wait, Beard Sky Daddy said, Chris, you remind me of that I bought a Midland emergency radio hand crank solar charger for all the devices. Still has the tab blocking the battery. Serviced my generator recently too. There you go. It's good to have all that stuff. You just don't know. It's good to have it just on the standby anyway, right? Like I said, it's not about the doom and gloom. It's just about regular preparedness anyway. And of course, if it got worse and worse as the years go by, well, then you just prep a little bit larger, a little bit more precise. That's all. Great question, Long Island, New York. He said, I wonder if North Korea has UFO sightings. I mean, with their nuclear test, I'm sure UFOs are all over that country. Maybe it's a tic-tac. Think about it. Again, if I can build something high-tech, even if it's a drone, don't have to put anybody in it, and I can fly this thing anywhere. It's like we can fly our own drones. We can sit right here, and I could be right here on my bench, and I can sit there fly something over in Iraq through satellite, and I can see that. And if they're getting real-time video in the whole 9 yards, oh my God, that's crazy, the technology. Jonathan Napier, gotta go. Nice chat. Take care, Chris. Bye for now. All right, Jonathan, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. You have yourself a good week coming up there, right? You said, Chris, there was a similar find 2 years ago. Somebody found a drive on a parking lot in Berlin. Huh. Yeah, Sean, you said, Chris, would you not expect the magnetic fields in the image to be symmetrical? And pretty much I would have said the same thing Ricardo just answered to you. He said, at Sean, he said, no, not at all. Solar winds will, when impacts the field, cause distortion. Yeah, because it'll kind of like push them back and stuff like that. It won't be perfect. Charlene Samson, what's going on? He said, good to see you, Chris. Sorry I'm late. Miss you all. Well, same here, Charlene. Good to see you in there. Good to see you in there. Hey, Sick-Ass Live UFO Show, Chris. Yeah, I'd like to come up with, there's other topics that you like to talk about too, because it's like, and like I said, I wasn't even going to, well, I wouldn't say I wasn't going to bring this up. I want to bring up this kind of stuff here, with the pending, stuff that's going on with the Earth as well. But like I said, most people would take it, you know, well, not most people, but some people would take it like, oh my God. And like I said, I've always, and I'll repeat myself, I always said, I'm not into that, you know, doom and gloom crap and the sky's falling. I don't believe in any of that junk. But I do believe in preparedness. So whatever comes your way, within reason, you can pretty much be okay, you and the family, right? So that's the way I look at it. And I'd rather pass it on than not, and not have people aware of what's going on. And like I said, I dropped the link in there, and of course this will be at the end of the video. Once the live feed becomes a video, I'm going to go ahead and drop all of these links that we use. I don't care if it's from Amazon, wherever, whatever, just so people get an idea. They can find the links in the bottom. It's something you should have anyway. It's just stuff you should be prepared for and you should be aware of. And obviously, if the better happens, meaning it's not as bad of an impact, then guess what? Great, fantastic. Instead of actually, you know, being worse than, you know, being said, then that's not good. Because some people like to downplay things, and I don't believe in doing that. I just believe in, let's call it how we see it or hear it, and then just pass it along. And, you know, if it can benefit somebody else, then why not, right? Yeah, right, Connor, yeah. How many times has that word been worn out, right? He said, better to be awake and aware than woke. White Beard Sky Daddy said, I think it was Mr. MBB333 here on YouTube back a few months. Footage from one of the solar observer probes, a large solar flare coming towards Earth was blocked by a suddenly appearing barrier of some sort. Huh. Bush Corey says, sorry, all gotta shoot off. Happy seeing you, Chris, and all you super cool people. All right, Bush Corey, yes, you have yourself a good one. Have yourself a good week coming up. Appreciate you being here as always, man. Cheers, brother. James, he said, Chris, well, let's all stay away from the nuclear bomb and the digital currency, definitely. Yeah, that's another thing that's too. It's, you know, if that kind of, this worldwide kind of thing ever happened, it's kind of like you might as well take your money, burn it. I mean, it's not going to mean anything, right? That's why you always see these people talking about how, you know, get precious metals, you know, gold, silver, this, that, and the other, because that'll be worth something. But I'm going, how is it worth something to anybody if pretty much everybody's equal? In other words, you all get knocked back into the dark ages. How is silver worth any more to me to you? It just doesn't make any sense. I'm going to take this gold and go, what am I going to do with it? Well, maybe when things come back online, maybe maybe the gold and silver is worth something, then you're okay. But if it doesn't come back online and people could give a crap about it, it's kind of useless. And you put all kinds of money into this just to make sure you had it. I mean, I guess it would benefit you to some degree once everything got back into the normalcy. Then you're like, bam, you put it down, you know, you get a new home again, whatever. If, the way he was talking, it's like if you knock back in the dark ages, how do you build anything? You're completely without power. So if you can get power back, obviously the factories will start working again, everything will be fine, provided it get all burnt up and everything else. It would take a while before everything got back online and working properly, right? Oh, man, this cat's adorable. If I wake her up, she's probably gonna get angry with me. What do you think? If anybody didn't see the new addition to the family, let me get her. Hey, baby, come here. Oh, I know, I suck. Oh. What do you think, guys? Oh, she's black-faced, so it's going to kind of mess with it. What are you doing? Because I'd rather go back to sleep, but thanks. Huh. Put her back. She's like, thanks for waking me up, jerk. But yeah, I just figured anybody who hasn't seen her, we called her Tess. Because like I said, I don't know if you guys heard, some of you guys didn't hear the story, but like I said, we were in the family said, hey guys, come up with a name for her. So you know, one person was saying, oh, that looks like a Hostess cupcake, you know, black and white. Okay, we'll call her Tess. But I went, Tesla. No, I was just like, whatever. So like I said, I call her Tess, Tessie, Tessa. Tess, Tessie, and Tessa. She's probably going, would you make up your damn mind? Yeah, I mean, Long Island, New York, I agree with you. You know, Stephen Greer is just another one of those people that just love to, you know, indulge more and more into his own stories and stuff like that. Oh, we can contact aliens. Now, I'm not saying that's not totally out of the question, but like I said, a lot of these people, like Linda, they like to embellish and they like to stay relevant. So how do they do that? Come up with something different every time. Oh, now we can do this, and now we can do that. It's like, you know, I like him as a person, but as far as I just go, hey, whatever. I think I watched, what is it, Unacknowledged? Is that what the video he had? Pretty good, but kind of lame at the same time. Oliver Klein, he said, it's all technological, needed for technical rebuild. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, as you said, it's a new mascot. Mars and Anomalies mascot, or was it? How did they put it? It was Mom, I think it was. Oh. Mark Matheny said, okay, Chris, and all have a good rest of the day and good next week. You do the same, Mark. You do the same thing, man. Have yourself a good one. Thanks for being here. Yeah, Mimi, she's, like I said, she's just a little baby. I think she just flipped me the paw for waking her up. Saying, right here. But, sweet, get her a GPS collar. Well, we don't have to worry about it getting out or anything, but yeah. Cameron, he said, have a good Sunday, Chris. Good stream as always. Have a good week. You do the same, Cameron. Thanks for being here as always, man. Appreciate you poking in there and just seeing what's going on. Sean, the question is, would you eat the cat if you needed to? Nope. Nope. She'd be all right, huh? She looked at me and then just went, turned her head like, yeah, whatever, dude. Just want to show me off. I said, no. White Bear Sky Daddy said, my cat's been trying to get me to go outside with him all day. He doesn't understand that I want to be here for this. Claire Media said, oh, so cute. My cat is just one now. Oh, okay, yeah, this one, yeah, she was, like I said, she was a baby. She was another one who was rescued from the same place we got the other cat we call Biscuit, the big male. She's a female. He's such a sweetheart. At first I thought they were gonna like freak out, but he was with a bunch of cats behind that other building, and so wasn't she. And she had upper respiratory problems, and eyes were like basically glued shut and everything else. And I said, listen, this cat's gonna die if we don't do something with her. The other ones weren't quite as bad, but they were either in the beginning stages or they were getting over it. And where she's so small, I said either something's gonna eat her, or she's not gonna be able to find her food and starve to death. So like I said, I started off by just putting like warm water with a Q-tip and opening up her eyes and stuff. I said, let's just take her home. What the hell? Just take her home. He just sneezed, you hear her? Charlene says, ooh, look at all the kitties. Cute. Yeah, you're right about that. You said all of them love the sound of their own voice. Yeah, pretty much. James Craig, you said, Chris, great to see you have a cat, because the cat will see the ghost in the house before you will. Charlene says, I love cats. Whoop, she just jumped down. Where are you going? Oh, hold on. She probably wants to go. Want to get something to eat? Come on. Come on. Want to go in here? Good. Had the other door closed. Funny thing about it is this, the door has a space under it. She literally crawls right under it. How do you do that? Come on. Come on. She goes, you already woke me up. You're not grabbing me again. White Bear Sky Daddy said, I can't eat moose or cat. I think if you had to, though, you probably would. Let me me see. Yep, she went to go get something to eat. All right, let's see. Charlene, I love cats. Yeah, they're adorable. Jean Bouzier, I believe when it comes to some of the pitches, we need to apply Occam's razor to them. Pretty much. Brigado, yeah, it does happen. You said I just switched from my tablet to my PC and the live stream jumped back 4 seconds. Gotta love it. Charlie, yeah, you go. My profile picture has my cat Gypsy on it. Awesome, Chris. Good luck with your kitty. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got the other one I rescued too. He was, I don't know, he had to have been somebody's cat at some point because the cat was so, it was so friendly that the other cats looked at him and said, dude, what are you doing? Get away from me. And even the girls are looking at him. The female cats are going, what? So he was just a nice cat, just a cool cat altogether. But he's so affectionate that he literally goes like this between your legs when you're walking and literally tries to make you fall over him so that he can pet him. In some ways, he can be annoying, but he's just a great cat. He's well worth it. Some cats are worse. They just don't want to be pet at all. James Bible says, stop by to deliver a vigorously robust thumbs up for you, Chris. Well, I appreciate that, James. I really do. James, you said, Chris, have you noticed lately that there are a lot of channels and podcasts talking about structures on the surface of the moon? They're a few years late from that, don't you think? Yeah, they're a little behind, just a tad. It's like, bro, really? It's like shit so old. It's unreal. Nevertheless, though, interesting. I don't know how many times since I've been doing this that it's been rehashed. It's funny how they're doing this. Because I've noticed that too. It's like things I've done like years ago, they're just coming out with now. I'm like, really? Let me see something. That reminds me. Let me see. Let me see if I can find this here. Because it's worth mentioning again that, let me see if I can find this. I don't think I can. I don't think it'll work. Let me see if I can find it. It'll probably mess me all up here, but yeah, you got to check out, if you can, I'm going to use the term our girl, Sarah's work and Julia's work, Antarctica and its hidden secrets. I don't know if you guys are aware of this channel. And I really don't put much on it because there's really not a whole lot going on, but there is a lot of work that's been shown on here, and I've got Sarah's thesis on this, and we'll actually be showing more of a more defined, let me see if I can put this here first, page where there's more detail. So you can check this out. This is the other channel, because you were saying, who was saying your Antarctica vid with the girl was one of the best I had seen in a long time. No, don't look at me, I am great, just facts. Cheers. But yeah, I mean, Julia and Sarah did some fantastic work. Sarah was probably the forerunner of it, but Julia was a great hand in helping her. They both did a great job on that. If you go to that link I just dropped, you can go to that channel. You can subscribe to it. Check it out. And like I said, if you look at the latest one, well, when I say the latest one, because I had 2 of them, it had, let me do it this way. Let me see here. Let me see. She almost fell off the bed. Surprised she couldn't even get on the damn thing. Now, if you go to the centering of Antarctica, Sarah's thesis, it's 3 hours and 18 minutes long. But you can also speed it up a little. You can put it at like a speed faster, and it's got some like classical music in the background. Of course, you can always put it on your own and read it. and go through it, because I basically scroll it. So it's like a scrolling book. You can actually read this thing, and if you can read faster, obviously you can put it on a little faster. But it's got the pictures and everything else, and everything rolled into, and it's really a lot of information on this. You folks need to check that out if you're really intrigued with a lot of Antarctica stuff. And that's the name of the channel, Antarctica and its Hidden Secrets. A lot of really cool stuff. I think I got like 6 videos on there. That's pretty much it. But there'll be more on there. And there's also her page, which I don't have the link to yet. I will get it, and I will put it down. She was asking, in fact, I was, checking it out, and I said, I know she was asking me before, to, have more and more people involved, because I even said that I would make sure that this got out a lot, because essentially, where's the other one here? Like I've got one, it's ancient high-tech structures found in Antarctica. There's a lot of cool stuff in these. Antarctica, hundreds of alien structures found, and when you really analyze this comes from her work as well as mine combined to pull the stuff apart. There's a lot of good stuff in here. More going on in Antarctica than people think. So check it out. Like I said, I did drop the link. I can do that, Ricardo. Let me see if I can figure out here. I want to drop the, I'm glad you mentioned that, Ricardo. I want to give you guys a Discord. Let me see if we can find this. No, I don't need that. Let me see. Let's see. I'm going to give you guys a link. You can check out the new Discord. Well, not new. It's been here for a while. A lot of great people are on this. Really have a good time on here. We have general chat. We have different categories that you can put your own work in if you got it. Here it is right here. You can check it out. This is our Discord page. A lot of you find folks and many other people are in here. Just give it a check out. Check it out. I think you'll like it. And again, I can't say it enough to Ricardo. Thanks for the fine work you do in keeping everybody up to date and everything else. And of course, we do have a person that keeps an eye on the channel, Heather. She keeps an eye on Discord, I should say. I make it sound like it's just a channel, but it's not. So that's on there as well. Sean, you said, okay, guys, I have to go. Good night, Chris. I appreciate you, Sean, being here, and I appreciate you commenting. Always a good time having you guys in there, and as well as you. So thanks for being here, and have a great week. Richard Graham, what's going on? Hi, Chris. Good to see you again. Yeah, good to see you as well, man. That's awesome. Well, New York, I said aliens colonized Ceres, depending on how you pronounce it, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, even that, it's crazy, right? When you see some of the structures, or what looks like structures. You know as well as I do, folks, you got to bring down the brightness in a lot of these over-brightened areas, you know what I mean? You know how that goes, because, well, NASA would never do that, right? Yep, big shout out to Ricardo. Plays an important role on that Discord, and I do appreciate his work. We are pretty much coming into a close on this because I have to take my son back to college. So, and he's only not that far. He's probably 35, 40 minutes away. Not too bad. But it starts getting dark, and I'm like, I'm going to get back and have to chill out and relax get ready to go to work tomorrow. Do it all over again. Fun, fun, fun. How many thumbs up we get in here? 138? Yeah, do a little bit better. If anybody hasn't done it yet, please hit the thumbs up. Definitely appreciate it. Renee Cruz, Sunday with Chris, live UFO marathon show. Yeah, we try to have a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Try to balance it out. Have a little something, something there for everybody if we can. But there's always other topics if you guys want to throw ideas down there after the video or the live feed, because it'll become a video after. You can always thank us and just leave some comments down there. That's how the algorithm works. And if you want to just say, hey, why don't we talk about this next time? We can do that too. So, just let me know. We can do that. Oh, yeah. James Biley said, any weight to the rumors of pyramids in America on federally protected lands, no public access? Not that I'm aware of. I mean, there may be some areas that may be like that, but I'm not sure of them. Not that I'm aware of. James Cragen, thank you very much. We will definitely give those cloths out to the CGI guys, you know, because you know what I mean. Heck, I could probably use one of my glasses getting fogged up, but that poor guys. Well, you gotta admit though, we want them to be not thorough in their covering up, so to speak. So maybe we want them to their glasses to be a little fogged up. What do you think? That's what I think. Now, we cannot talk about Uranus. Aha. Hung meow. Mimi said, good night, everyone. We're going to roll out of here, folks. Good to see everybody in there. And although the cat flipped me off, you know, like I said, I was share that with you too on a more happy ending. So I appreciate everybody being here. All the support. Doesn't matter what kind of support. It's always great. You guys are the bomb. I've got, like I said, 2 other videos coming out. I'm going to try to get these out as quick as possible instead of having them like, so there's like one every week or 2 weeks or whatever. We'll try not to do that. It's like when you come home at the end of the day, it's like 4:30 and you're like, oh my God, you're physically beat up. And then then you have dinner. It's the worst thing you can do. But what happens? You get more tired. Then you just relax. Oh, I think I'll just take a quick break. And next you know, you're in a coma, so it doesn't help. So that happens, especially when you're always physically busy. So that kind of sucks. But I do appreciate everybody being here. I said, you know what? I said, I need to get a video done, and I also need to do a live feed. It's been a while since I've talked to you fine folks. And I wanted to get it out there, you know, so I'm glad we could do that. So I appreciate everybody being here. James, thank you very much. He said, Chris, sorry, a blindfold instead. There you go. See, now you're thinking. You know, just let them just not take everything out of the photo. We need to see the stuff. So yeah, just put them, just put it around their eyes or break their fingers so they can't, you know, use the CGI on the computer to block it out. Ricardo, thank you very much for your support as always, my brother. He said, speaking of Antarctica, let's not forget that November is the anniversary of our beloved lost Sarah. Yeah, Michelle. Yep, exactly. Michael, rather. I'm sorry. I keep mixing that up. I don't know why. But regardless of that, yeah, that's true. Absolutely true. I'm glad you said that because I actually forgot. And I don't mean forget the time, but to actually mention it. But yeah, awesome. Yep. And like I said, I remember Julia was telling me that she said, you know, you need to, you know, we need to keep it, make sure it stays fresh in everybody's mind. And she wasn't sure whether the site itself, and like I said, I will drop the site, I will get it for you folks, and it'll be under there at some point. I'm going to try to get it, you know, once I get off live or later this evening and try to get that information, drop it down there. It depends on when I'm going to leave here to go drop him off. But what I'd like to do is have that down there, and you guys can also check it, because I believe she's actually revamped the site where it's actually got a little bit more information on there, because it seems like I've seen some other extra details. And it's been a while since I've been on the page. But the good thing about it is this is the reason why I told her a while back. I said, listen, even though what happened to Sarah, you know, if Julia forgets or they take down the site from her or whatever happens, it's like we'll always have the video on my page. I'm going to make sure her work lives on. So that's the reason why I went through the painstaking thing of making like a scrolling book out of her work, her thesis, to do that. So it'll always be on the internet. So this is the reason why I did what I did. It took quite a while to do this too. But I thought it was imperative that we did that, because that kind of work is not easy to come by. You know what I mean? And she did a fantastic job, whether it be the analysis they did on the soil, said that it was definitely, I don't know if I'd used the term factory, but there was definitely, you know, machining, all kinds of like industrial kind of thing going on Antarctica and that soil in that particular area. And at one point, it was like the Amazon. They figured this out. They found out rather that they did a core sample right there in the ice, and it went down so far, and it was literally, you know, organics in there. It wasn't just ice; it was organic. So it was actually like an Amazon jungle at one time. It was flourishing, and everything was great. It was greenery. So it wasn't always what you see today. So why is it hard to believe that there could have been civilizations living there way before? Maybe we were on the planet, maybe not, or if it was just people on the planet lived there for whatever reason. either way. Renee V said, thanks for the hangout, even though it was James once too late. Fantastic. Glad to have time go. Yeah, James comes in fashionably late, but he's all right. He's a good guy. Godha says, Chris and everybody, good night. Happy to join tonight. I'm glad everybody did join tonight. John P. Adventures, what's going on? He said, thanks, Chris. John P., I didn't see you poke your head in there, but good to see you in there. Yep, Ricardo, pretty much. Chris says, preserve the site and the video for all time. Yeah, because I was afraid that was going to happen, right? That they were going to, because I guess you have like certain time, you pay a certain amount, you can keep the site up, and if you didn't, then, you know, obviously it'll take it down, it'll become a different domain. I'm like, I hate to see that happen. I really would. So I told her, I even made a promise to Sarah that I would do that. I said, as long as you're, you know, you did this work, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to make sure this gets on the internet and that people can see it. Chris, man, and everyone tonight, great hangout again, and great comments from everybody like always. So take care and be safe, and we will talk soon, my friends. Oh, yeah. Got that right, James. John P. says, have a great week. Everybody do the same. I appreciate everybody being here. It was just awesome to be able to have everybody join us. I didn't know how many people would get on there, so I did that quick video saying that we are going to have a hangout. Some people probably figured we weren't going to have one, so we didn't have the turnout that we usually do, but that's okay. It was a great hangout like always. Had a little flavor of everything. We had some cuteness with the kitty. We had, well, I guess people would want to call it doom and gloom, but it really wasn't trying to be put out there like that. And of course, we had some talk about the UFOs, other different subjects. So that was cool to be able to do that. The rings of Saturn, you know, the A ring not being completed. They say it's something else, whatever. I mean, it's been like that for how many years? Jesus. But then they're going to claim, it's something, maybe a moon forming. Whatever. But still interesting nonetheless, right? So anyway, thanks for everybody joining me. I do appreciate you all. Much love to every one of you. Have yourself a great week, because I was going to say a good weekend, but you can see where we're at on Sunday. So anyway, everybody have a great week. Be safe, be healthy, look after one each other, and we'll see you guys soon. Peace.